A chance here today for the Harwich Mariners to pick up some ground in a tight Eastern Division battle early in the 2021 season here at Red Wilson Field against the YD Red Sox. Tim Foley alongside my broadcast partner Tyler Henry as we bring you game number 8 of the Harwich Mariners 2021 season, as mentioned, against the YD Red Sox. Tyler, welcome in.
Absolutely, good to be here. And one of the best seats in the house here at Red Wilson, quite literally 20 to 30 feet away from home plate. Best seats in the house.
First ball hit on the ground by Nick Lucky's liner over to second base. Throw on to first, retired by Nate Baez. And leadoff man down here for the Mariners. Let's introduce you now to the starting lineup for the Harwich Mariners. Leading off, you just heard him ground out to second, Nick Lucky, up now batting. Number 25, the third baseman, Brock Wilkin. Number 37, Carter Putz, he'll bat third. He's playing first. The catcher, number 5, Pat Winkle, he'll bat fourth. Zach Preisner at shortstop, he'll bat fifth. Corey Acton at second, he'll bat sixth. Cade Beloso, the designated hitter, he'll bat seventh. Ben Malgiri out in center, he'll bat eighth. And Press Kavanaugh out in left field, he'll bat ninth for the Mariners. The count to Brock Wilkin is 0-1 as he takes a first pitch called strike.
Yep, and again, Harwich still figuring the lineup out here early on, but we've seen the potential really shine these last couple of weeks here as the M's get started in their 2021 season and looking to get back to the offensive ways after a one-run game yesterday and falling 2-1 to Orleans.
Had a big weekend, scoring 22 runs in back-to-back games against Falmouth and Chatham combined, 11 in each. But as you mentioned, Tyler, that 2-1 drop yesterday against Orleans, and it's something about those Firebirds early on for the Mariners. They don't seem to be able to score too many runs against them. 2 runs in the 2 combined games so far.
Yep, of course, both of those games at Eldridge Park. Harwich losing their home game against Orleans due to rainy weather. So trying to bounce back here against the current East Polson.
Called strike 3 on Brock Wilkin, bumped back off the plate, but it finds the zone nonetheless. So it's strikeout number 1 for the Southpaw for YD, Nick Dombrowski out of Hartford. Let's introduce you to the YD defense real quick. Starting behind the plate, doing the catching for Dombrowski is number 17, Cade Hunter. Nate Baez over at first. Over at second, Wyatt Hoffman. Brooks Lee's over at short. Peyton Graham is at third as first pitch dealt into Carter Putz, misses for a ball. Out in right field, Briley Knight. Out in center, Chase Luttrell. And over in left for the Red Sox is going to be Tanner Smith. Putz chases after one. Count evens up at 1-1.
Yep, of course, no aggressive shift. If you looked at the YD Twitter account, they had 2 right fielders listed on the official lineup in the dugout. So they seem to get that situation sorted out. Luttrell out in center, Knight in right.
Ball squared up by Putz, sends it out towards center field, and underneath it is Luttrell to record the final out of the inning. We move now to the bottom of the first. Quickly down they go, 1, 2, 3. It'll be Graham, Smith, and Lee due up for the Red Sox. We'll introduce you to their whole lineup in just a minute. Don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. welcome back to Red Wilson Field here as we look to get going in the bottom of the first inning. We'll run you down now the YD lineup. Batting first, going to be Peyton Graham. He's over at third. Tanner Smith batting second. He's in left. The shortstop, Brooks Lee, he's batting third. The center fielder, Chase Luttrell, he's batting fourth. The first baseman, Nate Baez, he's batting fifth. The catcher, Cade Hunter, he's batting sixth. The designated hitter, Pascal Ferreras, batting seventh. Wyatt Hoffman, the second baseman, he'll bat eighth. And Briley Knight, the right fielder, he'll bat ninth. On the mound for the Mariners this afternoon, Cam Schlittler. Schlittler, his last outing wasn't even officially an outing, as he pitched 3 complete innings in that game against Orleans last Tuesday that got rained out. Pitched 3 innings, struck out 5. A pretty good showing in a short sample size. We'll see what he's able to bring today on a day where the weather is hot. The 2-0 count here delivered to Peyton Graham.
Yeah, this is really the first time we've had field conditions like this today. It's very hot, but it's not the same kind of 80s and muggy. This is a real heat out here today, especially in an afternoon game.
Ball fouled off by Graham over towards his Red Sox teammates on the third base side.
We're talking about a 5 o'clock start here at YD with the lack of lights out there on the field. So the sun beaming down on us all afternoon and into the evening.
Not going to get any of those traditional baseball skies as we see it. Of course, these games ending earlier. The 3-1 count now here. Graham, the third baseman for YD. Schlittler's pitch. Ball taken on the line out to left field. Going back to pick it up. Kavanaugh, that gets over his head. Takes a bounce off the fence, and he'll whip it back in. It's a leadoff double for Peyton Graham, and the Red Sox already with a runner in scoring position this early into the bottom of the inning.
Yep, a good start here for the Sox, and they're hoping to bounce back here. It's not that they've been playing poorly, they just can't seem to get an official result. Back-to-back games here, low-scoring ties. Of course, a 1-1 tie against Orleans a couple of days ago, and then they followed it up with a 2-2 tie back here. Or, correction, 0-0 tie in Orleans, a 1-1 tie yesterday. Just 1 run for and against the last 2 days here for the YD Red Sox.
So Peyton Graham stands on second. Now stepping in the lefty Tanner Smith, playing out in left this afternoon. Schlittler standing on the mound, looking back towards second, trying to make sure Graham doesn't move. The delivery. And it misses, ball 1. Let's take a moment now to set the Harwich defense. Doing the catching today for Schlittler behind the plate. Pat Winkle out of UConn. Carter Putz from Notre Dame. He was over at first. Corey Acton, he'll play second. Zach Preisner out of Notre Dame. He'll play short. Brock Wilkin of Wake Forest. He'll play third. Nick Lucky over in right field out of Coastal Carolina. He'll play right. Ben Malgieri of Northeastern playing center. And Press Kavanaugh of UNCG. He'll be out in left this afternoon. The 1-1 count now to Tanner Smith.
Yeah, Smith trying to get this team going here. Runner in scoring position, nobody out. Again, a golden opportunity here for YD.
Wind seems to be blowing towards right as the ball is fouled off straight at us. Would have caught that were there not a fence. The 1-2 count now.
Well, you were the back screen of your MacBook Air. I'm not sure which one would have had the ball first.
That was coming right for me.
All right.
I promised you that. Would I lie to you, Tyler?
Probably not. Still early in the season.
You don't know me well.
We'll figure it out.
A 1-2 count now here to Smith. Schlittler looking for his first strikeout of the day. This ball sliced back. Count stays at 1-2.
Yeah, and we talked to the YD broadcasters before the game and, of course, did all of our own research. But a couple of quick games, a couple of very fast games here early on, talking about those 2 draws here. Not a lot of offense, and it makes for quick work, as opposed to a couple of Harwich games that saw 11 runs on 11 hits.
Yeah, it was a 2-hour and 8-minute game played at Eldridge Park the other night against the Firebirds for the Red Sox, and that is such a quick clip for a baseball game. The 1-2 pitch just missing off speed down low, can't find the zone. Count 2-2.
Yeah, you can compare that to our 3.5-hour outing in Falmouth a couple of days ago. It certainly makes for a different style of game. But nonetheless, the Mariners have found ways to win in different fashions. They certainly have the pitching to win those low-scoring games, and the offense has shown bright flashes at times as well. It just depends on what the style is, and we'll see how things settle in as we get started here at Red Wilson.
The 2-2. Again fouled off here by Smith. And the at-bat will continue. Still standing on second, Peyton Graham. He was the leadoff man, got on with a double. Doubled out to left just over the head of Press Kavanaugh. Schlittler staring in. The pitch. Ball cracked on the ground, over towards the second baseman, Acton, but he fumbled it. Acton could not keep a hold on it, got loose. Everybody's safe. Peyton Graham now stands on third, and Tanner Smith, he will reach first on an error by the second baseman.
Yeah, an unfortunate start here for the Mariners. Runners at the corners, nobody out. For a lot of guys, they might relish an opportunity to redo their debut in the Cape Cod Baseball League. For Cam Schlittler, not the case. You mentioned it, 3 innings of scoreless ball, 5 strikeouts, and allowed just 1 hit and allowed just 1 walk as well. So coming out here in what is technically officially his debut, and a bit of a shakier start, but still nobody across the score yet.
And they'll now be facing off against Brooks Lee as this ball's sliced off. Lee, last time he faced off against these Mariners earlier this season, that was last Monday. Had a hit in his leadoff at-bat, otherwise went 1 for 4. The pitch could not hold it up high. That was an uncomfortable looking swing from Lee, and it goes to 0-2 now. Mariners still looking to record their first out, the leadoff double, and then the error by Acton at second puts runners on the corners. The 0-2. Ball hit well out towards right center field, over the center field fence, gone. A 3-run blast from Brooks Lee puts the Red Sox ahead 3-0 early in the first.
Yep, and it feels like we've seen this movie before here, Sam. A couple of days ago, a grand slam for Chatham in the top of the first inning, although this coming in the bottom half. But either way, an early 3 spot here for the Red Sox, and the Harwich Bats are going to have some work to do on the other side of the break.
So with Lee's home run, Red Sox leading 3-0. Chase Luttrell now comes up to bat. Meanwhile, Mariners still looking for their first out of the game. We'll have a conversation on the mound here between Cam Schlittler, Pat Winkle, and head coach Steve Englert. Take a moment here. Mariners dressed in their blue tops, gray bottoms. They've got the blue stirrups with the white and red stripes going around them. Blue caps, gray brims. Red Sox in their white tops, white bottoms, red stirrups, no stripes. Some players deciding to go with the sleeve. Luttrell does have that sleeve on his left arm, steps in the lefty batter's box, takes a first pitch called strike.
Yeah, interesting choice to rock the sleeve on a day like this. That can't be comfortable, but as long as it makes him feel more comfortable at the plate, I guess that's all that matters.
As the next pitch in 1-1, and you know as well as I do, Tyler, that baseball players are as superstitious as they come. If a player knows he plays well when he's got that sleeve on his arm, doesn't matter what the weather is. As Luttrell does bring one up the middle on the 1-1 count, takes a lead towards second, heads back to first, and still no outs. First 4 batters have all gotten on base for the Red Sox.
Yeah, you start to wonder if YD was just saving up all of the runs for this game after a couple of really low-scoring outings, and they've already got 3 guys aboard, as Nate Baez will come to the plate.
Nate Baez, the righty, playing first base today. He's got his teammate in Chase Luttrell on base.
Of course, this YD team's the first pitch catches the outside part of the plate for a strike. This YD team did have a 7-run outing, or rather an 8-run outing in a win against Orleans prior to that 0-0 tie. And then took a beating at the hands of Katua at 16-5 before that.
And the 0-1 pitch, just missing 1-1. I've said it before, I'll say it again, Katua, they have been putting up runs like it's nobody's business this season.
Yep, Katua and Bourne seeming to find high-scoring games all throughout. And Could do it, doing it again last night.
Baez taking the 1-1. Chopper on the ground, tops just over the head of Putz at first and beyond the glove of Acton at second. Runner going to third is going to be Luttrell. And now going to second is going to be Baez, as the throw over to third was missed, allowing Baez to take advantage and move down to second. So a ball that just missed both infielders on the right side results in Luttrell standing on third and Baez standing on first. First five up, first five on for YD.
Yep, and still not a single out here in the inning for Harwich. Work to do with runners on second and third, and Cade Hunter stepping to the dish. So things starting to get a little bit dire here early on and making a bad situation worse with the throwing error down to third. No chance for a double play up the middle as well.
If you're Schlittler, you have to hope that this is a guy you can get out. 3 for 16, batting 188 on the season so far. He does sky one up here, going out towards the shortstop. Catch made by Preisner, and there's finally one down here in the bottom of the first.
And that's big because, again, he gets it up, but he gets it to stay on the infield. No chance for the runners to advance. And so far the score remains at a very manageable 3-run deficit, but a couple more outs to get here.
And another guy who hasn't had the greatest success at the plate so far this season, Pascal Ferreras, 4 for 26. That's good for a batting average of 154 on the season. 12 strikeouts as well. That leads the Red Sox.
Yeah, not the category you want to be leading a team in, but see if you can settle in, be a little bit more patient here.
Schlittler decides on a pitch, delivers. First pitch in for a called strike. Ahead in the count now 0-1.
And this is really the first time Cam Schlittler has struggled probably in a while. Keep in mind, this is a guy coming out of a 2021 season in which he had a 1.8 ERA and an 8-1 record as a starter. Got a lot of swings and misses, and he looked very good in 2020 as well before the season got popped.
0-1 pitch, ball fouled off. Count now goes to 0-2.
I mean,
You mentioned it, one of the best pitchers in college baseball this year. I believe it was 11th best ERA, as you mentioned, at 188 in the country.
Yep, and again, I mean, he had a 1.32 ERA back in 2020. A lot of people look at the two starts there and they say, oh, well, that can't be replicated. But he came right back here in 2021 and really laid on the strikeouts. So trying to follow it up with a good Cape League season. He was off to a good start the other day. Today, not so much.
He's got no 2 count here. Called strike 3, able to get Ferreras looking. Strikeout number 13 on the season for Pascal Ferreras.
Yeah, I mentioned Ferreras needing to be a little bit more patient. That time a little too patient as he watches strike 3 go by. And I'll tell you what, Colin, correction, Tim.
Colin's over there.
Colin is, again, within eyesight. Still not excusable. Wyatt Hoffman at the dish. If Harwich can get out of this with just the 3 runs given up, that's still a huge win here for the Mariners.
Yep, they've had runners in scoring positions, the Red Sox have, with no outs for the past 2 batters. This ball fouled up over our heads. Could be another day where we are tasked with making a play on a foul ball. We'll have to see.
And once again, I see neither one of us brought our gloves to the park. So
I'll have to buy one at some point.
Do you not own a baseball glove?
It's not with me.
Ah, fair enough, fair enough. I think mine's back in Kansas as well. I can't blame you for that.
Okay, I'm not as far as Kansas, granted. 0-1 pitch. Ball hits squarely out to left. Kavanaugh, he's underneath it, though, and the Mariners get out of the inning. 8 batters come up for YD. They strand 2 in scoring position, but the 3-run blast from Brooks Lee over center field has the Red Sox up 3-0 after the first inning of play. We move to the second. It'll be Winkle, Preisner, and Acton. We'll be back in just a minute. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to Red Wilson. Brock Wilkin was up last inning. Pat Winkle will lead off for the Mariners this time around, the backstop for the M's. We'll also see Preisner and Acton. Dombrowski still on the mound for the Red Sox. And first pitch seen by Winkle. This one's going back. Well hit ball, gone. Pat Winkle hits a home run over center field. Same exact spot that Brooks Lee took one for a ride. And one pitch, one run gotten back by the Mariners.
You know, I had some things I was going to mention about Pat Winkle. He didn't even give us time to get into it. And I'll tell you what, if there's one guy that knows about depositing a home run ball into the tree line here at Red Wilson, it's Pat Winkle. He did the same thing in the CCBL playoffs back in 2019. And that swing looked every bit as good as it did back then. Wasting no time, Mariners on the board.
Really was an excellent swing, as I believe I was in the outfield for that game, and one of my intern co-workers, he caught some Mariners home run ball. I'm not sure how many home runs there were that game.
There were a few.
But
I think I'll have to go back and check the books. I know for a fact that Pat Winkle had a 2-home run game at some point. It may have been that one, may have not.
It's a 2-0 count here to the new batter in Preisner.
Yeah, Preisner looking to get the Mariners to continue this inning rolling after an early start.
And the 2-0 pitch falls in for a strike. Preisner so far in his 3 games coming into today for the Mariners, 3 for 13, batting .231. The 2-1 pitch fouled off. Count now evens up at 2-2.
Yep, and again, Winkle, one of those guys that we don't know how much longer he'll be here on the Cape. A lot of guys going to be getting drafted here in about a week and a half, and already see the departure last night after a heck of an outing by Evan Schauber. We'll talk more about him later, but again, you just don't know how long some of these guys are going to be sticking around.
The 2-2 pitch up high, holding off of it Preisner, and count now full. And Winkle having just come back as well from the MLB Combine.
Yep, absolutely, and he said he had a good time down there, had a chance to compare himself to some other guys at the top level.
3-2 swing missed by Preisner. That's the second strikeout of the day, delivered by the lefty Dombrowski.
Yep, and that'll bring up Corey Acton, another 2019 vet, looking to get the Mariners inning to continue here.
Acton, the lefty, stepping in so far this season for the Mariners. Has not recorded a hit. Still looking for his first one in a Harwich uniform this season.
Yeah, he's found his way on base a couple of times. He's been pretty efficient in that regard, but again, still looking for that first CCBL hit.
Does have 5 walks. And he takes the first 2 pitches outside, 2-0.
Yeah, Corey Acton had a week back in 2019 where he could do no wrong. And again, just trying to replicate that, settle back in here in 2021 after a bit of a slow start to his 2019 season as well.
Dombrowski's 2-0, hit out by Acton, going back towards center, caught by Luttrell. That was a similar looking ball to Winkle's, just happened to die down a bit more than Pat's did, and so a long out number 2.
Yeah, tough seeing out to straightaway center, especially on a day like this. Again, the wind is blowing a little bit out to left field if you look at, well, I guess you can't look, but the flag blowing out that way. Cade Beloso will stand in and take his first pitch.
0-0 pitch to Beloso. Misses. Now, Beloso, a guy who had a lot of success the first few games for the Mariners, but had since cooled off. Had a game where he was 0 for 5, 0 for 4. Could not find a way to get on base. He's faced with a 1-1 count now. The 1-1. Ball hits squarely out to center. Again, going to be caught by the center fielder, Luttrell. This one more on a line, and that's out number 3. The Mariners do get one back. They match home run for home run as Pat Winkle sends a solo shot on the first pitch he sees out over dead center. So it's 3-1 Red Sox. We move now to the bottom of the second inning, where we will see the 9-1 and 2 batters up for YD. We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners on the Mariners YouTube Network. Back here in Yarmouth at Merrill Red Wilson Field. Schlittler still on the mound for the Mariners. Leading off, it's Briley Knight, the right fielder for YD this afternoon. We'll also see Peyton Graham and Tanner Smith.
Tim, there are some things that need to be said. I can't hold my tongue any longer. This has to come up now. We have to talk about something that is missing from Red Wilson Field as this pitch misses upstairs. The Cape Cod Baseball League has lost a legend.
Yep.
As we have been informed that the Donut Burger no longer a part of the scenery here at YD.
I'm especially disappointed because you had the good fortune, Tyler.
Yes.
Of being able to actually try it as the 1-1 pitch misses up high, now 2-1. Now, one of my questions is, do they take two donuts and they put a patty between it, or do they have a donut and then put the patty between it?
I believe they have a donut, but somehow they work it to where they have it and then they make it, as we get a swing and a miss to make the count 2-2. And I will say, too, I was very hesitant, but I went ahead and went with the chocolate one just to go all in. Really not bad. It was pretty good.
I don't know
it
how
sounds
you
wrong,
could do
but you know what?
chocolate.
It works somehow against all odds. But the point is, a legend is missing from this park, and it just doesn't feel right here at YD.
2-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Schlittler got him to swing. So that's strikeout number 2 for Schlittler on the afternoon. Now, it would have to be just a plain glazed. Chocolate, I think, you already have too much going on. Ketchup and chocolate?
I mean, they had
That's
4
a day.
varieties.
You're playing with
fire, there's no
Tyler.
ketchup. There's no ketchup.
No ketchup?
No,
You
no
don't put
ketchup, no
on
cheese.
that.
No ketchup, no cheese.
No cheese?
Well, no, you don't want cheese and a donut.
But then, how's that a burger anymore? You need cheese. I mean, I guess you got the meat on the 0-1 pitch. Peyton Graham swings, makes it an 0-1 count.
Look, I won't argue with the mad scientists in the lab who cooked it up. All I'm saying is it was surprisingly good, and it will be missed.
The 0-1 pitch. This one's taken out to left field. A well-hit ball. Back it goes. Gone. A bomb hit by Peyton Graham over the fence and left. And that's the 3rd home run of the game. Every run of this game so far has been deposited over that fence out in the outfield.
Yeah, I mean, the power numbers really come into play here on both sides. Unfortunately, the difference is the number of runners on base, that 3-run home run, currently the difference on the scoreboard, as the Harwich Mariners fall behind here 4-1. And you don't see many home run trots in this league, as the first pitch is in there for a called strike to Tanner Smith, but Peyton Graham, as soon as he hit that, he just kind of watched it go by, took a little walk on his way down to first.
No, I mean, that was certainly a no-doubter on that one. Took a moment to appreciate it as the 0-1 count now here, facing Tanner Smith. Smith got on last inning on the error from Corey Acton, just dropped the ball that was within his reach, ended up being brought around on a home run. This time, another shot over at Acton. He'll throw on to first and record the out. So now 2 down in the bottom of the 2nd.
Yep, the Mariners able to come back and get a quick out there. That was a tough play there for Acton, but a good job scooping it into the glove, securing it first, and then worrying about the throw down to first. As the Mariners will try to get the man who homered last time.
And now you have Brooks Lee, the guy who hit a home run last time for the Red Sox. He's got 2 outs facing him this time. Had the fortune of coming up to bat with no outs back in the 1st. The pitch from Schlittler fouled off and picked up by Beloso, made the bare-handed grab. Of course, Beloso, the designated hitter today for Harwich. We'll see him lead off in the 3rd inning. He'll come up to bat for the first time this afternoon. A 1 pitch misses, count now 1-1.
Yeah, we'll see if it's a similar situation to what we saw out of Nixon Acola a couple days ago against Chatham. Gives up a couple of early runs on home runs.
As the pitch misses down to the dirt, 2-1.
But then bounced back and had a really good rest of his outing. He did give up 1 solo shot, similar to what we've seen here out of Schlittler. But other than that, really did a good job of keeping runs off the board after giving up a 4 spot.
2-1 pitch. Ball finds the zone, 2-2.
Yeah, wind's starting to pick up a little bit here at Red Wilson. We'll see if that contributes to maybe a couple more balls over the fence for both sides.
2-2 pitch. In the dirt, holding off was Lee. Count now runs full, 3-2. And you have to imagine that this hot weather helping to send those balls over that fence in the outfield. A 3-2 pitch here from Schlittler. Chopped on the ground, dribbler over to first, and just edging foul. Picking it up was Putz as he took a step on the bag, but the umpires making the call. That ball just foul.
Yep, so we'll see again what Schlittler decides to go with here on a 3-2 count. A guy that we will remind you as far as the pitch mix that he's working with. Fastball and a couple of good off-speed pitches in there as well. Forgot that the scouting report is still on its way here for Schlittler.
Ball popped up, foul over towards that berm on the left side here at YD, just beyond their bleachers. They have a bit of a hill with some trees. Count stays full now here, 3-2, a good battle from Lee at the plate. Schlittler looks like he's decided the pitch. Ball hit over the head of the first baseman, drops down into the outfield. A 2-for-2 opening here from Brooks Lee as he stands on first with a single.
Yeah, offense, really, you get the feeling this could quickly turn into a high-scoring bout between these two, especially if both teams get into the bullpen here early. But Harwich going to have to do some work to knock Dombrowski out of this game.
Dombrowski, certainly an excellent pitcher for Hartford. Had a no-hitter earlier this season for the Hawks. Knows how to throw it. It is still Schlittler and the Mariners in the field. And the first pitch delivered to Luttrell is skied. Second baseman Acton underneath it, but he drops it. Oh. Acton dropped the ball, and everybody's safe.
And that was a tough one. I mean, Acton had time to settle under it. May have lost it in the sun, as there is not a cloud in the sky here in Yarmouth, but still, as it came down, you heard it hit the mitt and actually took the glove off of his hand. He picked it up with his bare hand. So 2 aboard here for the Red Sox.
The sun is blazing here today. It's not only hot, it's just extremely bright. Tough to pick a lot out of the sky as the first pitch seen by Baez, sent to short, gets past Preisner at short. Coming home to score is Lee, and going over to third now is Luttrell. Baez will stand on first. Lee came home to score. Luttrell stands on third on a shot up the middle.
Well, I'll tell you what, these balls are not missing Mariner gloves by much, but right now, just out of reach, it seems, every ball that gets put into the field. And runners are going to be at the corners again here with 2 away for Cade Hunter.
Not the inning defensively for the Mariners. They've already been charged with 4 errors in this game through the first inning and 2/3. Schlittler's pitch to Cade Hunter misses down low. It's a 1-0 count. Hunter, the 7th batter to come up in this inning. YD had 8 come up last inning. Everybody getting offensive reps for the Red Sox early. Pick off over to first. Sliding back safely is Baez.
Yeah, Baez is a first baseman with some decent speed over there at first. And in a situation like this, oftentimes you will see guys get a little bit risky, try to swipe a bag at second.
Ball hit on the ground. Chopper over to Acton at second. Flip on to short for Preisner to record the out. No more come across on that play, but 2 in the inning do score for YD. A solo shot from Peyton Graham over the scoreboard in left, and then Brooks Lee driven around off a single from Nate Baez up the middle. So we'll be back in just a minute. It's now 5-1. YD here at Red Wilson Field. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back with you here in Yarmouth, leading off for the Mariners. Cade Beloso. No, it's actually Malgiri as part of me. I did not update my scorebook properly back in the second inning. Ben Malgiri leading off for the Mariners in the third inning.
Or Ben Mulgiri, as the PA announcer put it. I've had a couple of those today. I think I also heard Zach Preisner, which, yes, if you're guessing, is how that looks on paper. But if you ask, that is not how it's pronounced.
2-0 pitch to Malgiri. Swinging and missing is Ben Malgiri. Count now 2-1.
Yeah, we'll see if Malgiri can continue his streak of just finding unique ways to get on base. I mean, it seems like every time the guy gets in the box, he finds a way onto first at least.
This ball hit over to second, throw on to first in time for the out. Malgiri goes down 4-3. This will bring up Press Kavanaugh, left fielder out of UNCG.
Yeah, a lot of colleges, a lot of D1 colleges around that area. I had a chance to spend some time out in Winston-Salem, and of course, kind of realized once I got there, it's a college hotbed. You don't have a lot of great collegiate talent in that area, but just a lot of little schools that you kind of forget are down there in that Charlotte area.
First pitch to Kavanaugh, in for a called strike. Kavanaugh, another guy in this Mariners lineup who's looking for his first hit of the season, 0 for 7. He has been walked twice, so he's gotten on a few times, but still looking for that first knock as the second pitch of the at-bat missing, low and away, 1-1.
Yeah, and the big number right now on the scoreboard, 4 errors for the Harwich Mariners. Only a couple of those runs that have been scored by YD coming across of the earned variety here early on.
1-1 pitch. That one misses low as well. 2-1 now. On deck for the Mariners, Nick Lucky. Pitch. Ball hit on the ground, softly over towards short. Throw on to first. Picked out in time to record the out. Down goes Kavanaugh, 6-3.
Yep, 2 more quick outs. I mean, aside from the solo shot by Pat Winkle, first time through the order looking pretty good here for Nick Dombrowski. But now an opportunity for the Mariners to come back up again after having seen him one time through the order. An opportunity to make some adjustments, and we'll see if the M's can turn it on offensively here.
And Dombrowski, a guy, I wouldn't be too surprised if he comes back, and now second time through the lineup, he's got a third pitch he's been sitting on as the first pitch swing and a miss from Nick Lucky, just to kind of shake things up, keep things interesting, kind of keep things in his favor second time through the lineup. Lucky last time up, grounded out over towards second to open up the game. Ball in the dirt, count now 1-1. On deck for the Mariners, should Lucky be able to reach base, Brock Wilkin. Lucky fouling the 1-1 pitch back, count now 1-2.
Yep, and again, opportunity here for the Mariners, 2 away in the inning, but again, second time through the lineup. Trying to pick things up on that side of things.
Dombrowski shaking his head through a selection of pitches, finally settles on one. Got him to look. Down goes Lucky. Froze him. That's the third strikeout of the game for Dombrowski. And down the Mariners go, 1, 2, 3. We move now to the bottom of the third inning. YD leading here at Red Wilson Field, 5-1 over the Mariners. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back with you now at Red Wilson Field, leading off for the Red Sox. Pascal Ferreras struck out looking back in the first. Cam Schlittler still on the mound for the Mariners. And Tyler, if you're Schlittler, I think you're just looking for an efficient inning here.
Yeah, I mean, looking for an efficient inning, but also looking for a little bit more from your defense. Again, 4 errors here early on, 5 runs across for the Red Sox, only 3 of the earned variety. So hard to pound the zone when the guys behind you are making as many mistakes as we've seen today.
Check swing from Ferreras cannot hold up. He's behind in the count now, 1-2.
Now, with that being said, this is a Harwich defense that's looked very good so far this season. I don't want to sound like we're bagging on them too much, but again, 4 errors through the first 2 innings. Just a bit of a tough look here for the M's today.
Schlittler's 1-2. Got him to go after it. Strike dropped 3. Throw on from Winkle to first, and there's 1 down now in the bottom of the third.
Yep, third K of the day here for Cam Schlittler, and that was something that we saw early on. You mentioned it before. 3 innings pitched, 5 strikeouts in the game that did not count. Just 1 walk. No walks issued so far this afternoon. But a couple of balls over the fence here at Red Wilson Field have the Red Sox on top early.
So now it's a fresh count to the new batter, Wyatt Hoffman. Flew out to left. This time he lines one into left, and that gets down and left center field. A 1-out single from Hoffman.
Yep, and once again, the Red Sox find their way in business here. They led off the second with a strikeout, then ended up scratching across 2 in that inning as well. So see if they can maybe rally here and pick up a few more runs.
And striking out first in that inning was Briley Knight, who steps in now for the Red Sox. He was the second strikeout victim for Schlittler. The runner goes, and a foul tip, so going back to first now is Hoffman.
Yep, trying to stay aggressive here. We know Scott Pickler's guys will often try to swipe bags early in games, and why not? With the way guys have been tearing the cover off the baseball today, try to get guys in scoring position, and another ball hit to the gap like what we just saw would probably score him.
Hoffman, no stolen bases, has not attempted one yet this season. Pickoff attempt over to first. He's held. It's an 0-1 count here to Briley Knight.
And an update out in the Harwich Mariners bullpen, Trey Dombrowski getting loose.
Yeah, Schlittler has seen a lot of work. The 0-1 pitch, a big cut, but a big pop in the catcher's mitt as Briley Knight now behind 0-2. Still on first, Hoffman. He dives back to the bag as Schlittler checks over on him, making the throw over to Butts.
Tim, I just saw a nickname for the first time that I've never seen before, but it was tweeted by the official UConn baseball account, so I'm guessing it has some weight. Pat Winkle, Pinky? I don't know about that one.
Well, you got the P in Pat.
Yes.
Okay.
I see where they're coming from.
And then his last name is Winkle. As down swinging goes Knight. Second time today. That one low in the dirt. A nice pitch from Schlittler to get him to go after it. Strikeout number 4 from Cam Schlittler. And now Schlittler looking to get out of the inning, having only faced 4 batters.
So yeah, balls and strikes. A good game being called right now by the aforementioned Patrick Winkle.
It's now Peyton Graham stepping up for the Red Sox. Takes a first pitch for a strike.
Another pitch coming up here for Schlittler. Again, taking a long time to look in, trying to get exactly what he wants with a runner on and 2 away.
The 0-1. Ball hits squarely out to center field, and that one gets down. Algieri picking it up, runner going for third in Hoffman. He's actually going to be held up, so he will wait at third. It's a 2-out double from the leadoff man, Peyton Graham. He just continues to produce for these Red Sox. Now 3 for 3 through the first 3 innings.
Yeah, a pair of doubles and a home run. It's not like these have been cheeky hits. He has been absolutely tearing the cover off the baseball here early on, and the guys after him have been doing a pretty good job as well. No hit officially for Tanner Smith, who stands in now, but after that, Brooks Lee is 2 for 2 with a 3-run home run, and Luttrell and Baez with a hit each after that. It's just been the bottom 4 in the order that have struggled today for YD.
Yeah, so not a good part of the lineup to run into for sure for Schlittler here. Although had runners in scoring position last inning, the 0-0 count now moves to 0-1 on a called strike. They had Luttrell standing over on third, and they could not drive him home with 2 outs. Schlittler looking for some more 2-out defense here. The 0-1 pitch. Ooh, holding on to his swing, Tanner Smith. A funky check swing there, rotated nearly his whole body, managed to keep his hands square. A 1-1 count. Schlittler has to take a moment, wipes the sweat off his brow, steps and delivers. Ball chopped on the ground over towards the Harwich dugout. Beloso can't barehand it this time. Count 1-2.
Of course, Tanner Smith rocking the eccentric bright green batting gloves. Had to double check to make sure, but coming from the University of Oregon.
1-2. Ball hit squarely onto Wilkin at third. He'll throw on to first. Putz stretches over to his right to make the grab, and no runs come across in the inning for YD. They leave 2 stranded. We move now to the top of the 4th inning. It's 5-1, Red Sox leading the Mariners. We'll be back in just a minute. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back now at Red Wilson Field, and for the play-by-play for the next 3 innings, my broadcast partner, Tyler Henry.
Thanks, Tim. 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up here for the Harwich Mariners. Brock Wilkin, Carter Putz, and Pat Winkle. Another inning of work coming up here for Nick Dombrowski. As the M's looking to come back down 5-1. You're in inning number 4, top of the 4th at Red Wilson Field. And the first pitch off speed misses high. Wilkin will leave that up around his eyes, and the count starts off at 1-0.
You're just hoping for some longer innings if you're the Mariners. I mean, aside from Pat Winkle's solo blast, everybody else has been retired to this point.
Yep, first time through the order, certainly working for Nick Dombrowski. It's his next offering, the 1-0. That'll miss low and inside. Count goes to 2-0. And Tim, we've talked about it a little bit, but again, really the instant offense delivered by the 2 guys from Notre Dame, one of which, Carter Putz, standing in the on-deck circle directly in front of us. It's really energized this lineup.
Yeah, it certainly has. I mean, as that pitch fouled back, it was Putz who had that 3-for-3 day in Falmouth, and Preisner got involved as well. Additionally, in that game against Chatham, the offense continued for those 2. Settling in now, interesting to see how now a few games in, cooling off a bit, but even still, just the injection that these guys have had and the impact they've had has been huge so far this season.
2-1 pitch. That'll be in there for a called strike. Even the count at 2-2 on Brock Wilkin, who's been one of those other steady rocks for Harwich here early on. Seems like between him, Cade Beloso, with the exception of these last couple of outings, and more recently, Ben Malgieri getting in on the fun as well as some of the more consistent guys in the lineup. 2-2 swung on and roped foul back past the trees off to our left side. A reasonable crowd on hand here at Red Wilson Field in YD.
Always is. They love their Red Sox here in Yarmouth and Dennis.
Yep. Always convenient when you can pull a fan base from two different towns here on the Cape. As the 2-2. Check swing. They will go down to the first base umpire. No swing, says the ump on the corner. The count stays here at 2-2.
Well, Colin and I talked about it a bit on the broadcast yesterday. Similar for Orleans, how there's no team past them on the Cape, so you get a lot of those higher-up teams, your Choros or Easthams.
Even all the way up to Provincetown. Wilkins sends this one high in the air out to straightaway center. Very lazily taking about 3 steps to his left, almost losing it, but then settling under it to make the catch is Luttrell out in center. And that'll be one away here in the top of the 4th.
Yeah, those outs aren't going to be in gimmies today, at least not. They haven't been so far. Those high flies, the sun has been pretty brutal through the first 3 innings so far here at Red Wilson.
Yeah, fortunately it does dip down a little bit behind the press box, but not a massive press box here at Red Wilson, so that sun will continue to be an issue. Of course, the sun can also be an issue if it gets too low, as the first pitch is swung on and roped down the left field line, but foul. Absolutely squaring that one up as Carter putts.
Yeah, he put a nice barrel on the bat right there. That thing just tailed to the left, though. Just kept on pulling and ultimately foul over the shorter fence that indicates foul territory.
Of course, we got a really good view right down the line here. As long as it goes off to the left side, anything to the right side will be standing up and trying to look beyond the dugout. But for the time being, an 0-1 count on the member of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Carter putts, stands back in. Dombrowski sets, kicks, and fires. This one swung on. It's a flare out to center, has a chance to get down, and it will get down. Carter putts with a 1-out single, has the Mariners setting up shop with 1 away.
Yeah, it just continues for him. I mean, he was 5 of 12 coming into today, batting .417, and second time around seeing Dombrowski, he's the kind of guy who's going to be able to make an adjustment and be able to put a bat on a ball. Really nice at-bat there by Putz.
Yep, and here's one of the only guys first time through the order who needs no adjustment. It's Pat Winkle, who blasted a home run over the center field fence his first time up. He will stand in, batting from the left side. One of the interesting notes we haven't really made on Dombrowski so far at this point, he does have those reverse splits. So a lefty who actually pitches better to right-handed hitters. Really interesting when you look at his numbers so far this season. Maybe that's a factor early on, but on the scouting report that we got, something that was consistent during his collegiate time as well. You don't see a whole lot of that.
Yeah, certainly not. And, talking to the YD broadcasters a bit before the game.
This ball swung on and taken up the right side. Diving there is Hoffman. Good. He's able to recover in time, pops it off the glove, steps up, throws to first, and retires Pat Winkle. A great defensive effort there for the aforementioned Wyatt Hoffman. It does succeed in moving putts up into scoring position, but a big out there for YD.
Yeah, I mean, just way to stay with the play. Hoffman, he lost it for a second. Winkle, not a guy with the most speed in the world, but even still, you got to hurry once you bobble it because a lot of these guys will beat you down to first. A really nice piece of defense to get that one back.
There is a runner in scoring position here for Zach Preisner. Digs in from the right side. First pitch on the way. In there for a called strike. Of course, Preisner had the only RBI yesterday, an RBI single to put the Mariners on the board against Orleans. Game they ultimately fell in 2-1. 0-1 count right now. Dombrowski, the lefty, sets, checks the runner back to second, brings home the pitch. And that is just on the inside part of the plate, or off the inside part, rather, to even the count at 1-1. In case you're wondering, dimensions look like this here at Red Wilson Field. 346 out to left field, 338 to right, 352 to straightaway center. And, of course, the fence is in a little bit, but a little higher than what we usually see across the CCBL. It's a big swing and a ball tipped back to the screen here by Zach Preisner.
Yeah, tough to steal a home run in this ballpark as the fence, unless you begin to climb it as a player, which certainly I'm sure has happened. But with how short it is, a lot of these balls are going to clear that fence in the outfield, left field, and right by a pretty good margin, as each of the home runs hit today have.
Absolutely. See if Preisner can battle his way back, 2 away in the inning. Runner on second here for the M's. The 1-2. Swung on and fouled away. Preisner stays alive and hits one back to the parking lot. And that's the other thing you'll notice if you come here to Red Wilson Field. You may be thinking to yourself, wow, front row parking. No one here. This is great. I've got the best spot in the house. Wouldn't recommend it. You are in prime foul ball territory if you do come here down to Yarmouth and enjoy a game at Red Wilson.
And I can't help but notice every time a foul ball's hit that way, our very own Colin Casey stares back in a panicked manner, trying to make sure that that windshield that just cracked wasn't his.
Here comes another 1-2. Preisner squares this one up and sends it out to left. Has a chance to get down, and it will. They'll go ahead and send the runner. Carter Putz comes across to score. And Irish driving in Irish as the Mariners' second run of the day comes on a Zach Preisner RBI single.
And you've talked about it a bit earlier in the season. It helps to have these guys at similar parts of the lineup where you have that teammate connection one after another. I mean, it's traditionally this season been Putz going an at-bat or two before Preisner, and it works. It pays off here for the Mariners.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I feel like it still has less of an impact than if you're talking about a pitcher pitching to his catcher, but it does mean something. We talk to these guys all the time as this ball swung on by Corey Acton. He skies it high out to straightaway left field, tracking it back to the warning track, and making the catch is Smith. And that will end the inning. But before we step away, fans want to remind you that today's game is brought to you by Curry College, where you can go to be anything you want to be. Classes are offered online at www.curry.edu. We will step away when we come back to the home half of the fourth we go. Red Sox leading it 5-2 here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back here at Red Wilson Field, Tyler Henry alongside Tim Foley as we get set for the home half of inning number 4. It'll be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up here for the Red Sox. Brooks Lee, Chase Luttrell, and Nate Baez. And this part of the order has been raking here early. Tim, it's going to be interesting to see if Schlittler can shut him down the third time through.
Yeah, 5 hits and Luttrell getting on his second at-bat. So each of the 6 plate appearances, they've all gotten on.
Of course, Brooks Lee, who stands in now, had the big 3-run shot back in the first inning. Aside from that, a single, 2 runs scored. Good things have happened when he's been at the plate for the Sox, as he will take the next pitch in there for a called strike to even the count at 1-1. Of course, with a couple of name changes, I know we've talked about a couple of them throughout the season, as this ball is going to be chopped up the middle. It'll be picked up by Preisner, throw to first in time to record the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Chase Luttrell. But talking about some of the name changes, of course, the Hyannis Mets becoming the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. A couple of other changes across the Cape. This is really the only option you have for an all-major league team name game between the Mariners and Red Sox.
Yeah, it certainly is. YD opting to buy into MLB's offer to purchase their merchandise and their branding.
This ball swung on and cooked out to right field. That'll get down at 1 hops to the fence. Picked up out in center by Malgiri. He takes off for second, but the throw is wild. Over the head of seemingly everybody. Luttrell put it to the fence. Malgiri showed off the arm strength, but maybe a little bit too much as he sailed it over the head of both Corey Acton and the guy backing up Corey Acton, Cam Schlittler. And that'll put a runner on second here with 1 away. We've seen this a couple of times, Tim.
We have, and that's a ball that you need to remember that even though it was a pretty well-hit ball out to a gap out between right and center, the fence is pretty short, so the outfielder is going to be able to get to that pretty quickly. He's going to be able to make a throw to second, so that's a lot closer play than it normally would be here at Red Wilson.
Yep, head coach Steve Englert coming out to the mound to have a word and now signaling out to the bullpen. That will be the end of the line here for Cam Schlittler again in what it will go down as his official CCBL debut. We will step away. When we come back, we'll have a look at the new pitcher coming into the game. Mentioned Dombrowski warming up earlier. We'll see whether it's him or somebody else. After this, you're watching here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back here at the ballpark, Tyler Henry alongside Tim Foley. New pitcher coming into the game here for the Harwich Mariners. It will be Trey Dombrowski, who so far has looked good in his CCBL debut. 2 innings pitched, gave up 2 hits, no runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts on the day. And the lefty will be brought in here to face off against Nate Baez and Cade Hunter with a runner on second.
Yeah, another lefty here. YD's been seeing, of course, they saw Schlittler pretty well. So, Dombrowski, he's going to have to bring something a little different to try and knock these YD batters off their groove.
Yep, Dombrowski, a junior out of Monmouth, struck out 10 batters in a start 4 different times during the 2021 season for the Hawks, and through his first 9 starts back in 2021, did not surrender a home run. Again, he will be the man called upon here for the M's as he takes his warm-up pitches. Let's get a look at what we can expect out of Trey Dombrowski from a pitching perspective. A fastball that'll come in anywhere between 88 to 90 miles an hour, a slider, a cutter, and a changeup. He has got a deep repertoire of pitches, Tim, and we've seen that work very well for some guys so far on the Cape. We've also seen it backfire for some guys that are kind of the jack of all trades, master of none. Really just depends on who you're looking at out there.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have that go-to pitch, your strikeout pitch. We'll see what it is that Dombrowski, likes to go to when he's ahead and counts.
Yep, and we'll see it right here against Nate Baez, who stands in for the 3rd time today. First pitch is in there, off-speed delivered for a strike. Baez 2 for 2 with a pair of singles, including an RBI back in the 2nd. He's got a runner in scoring position now in the form of Chase Luttrell standing out on second base. As Dombrowski gets set for the 0-1. Stares in, checks the runner back to second. Checks him again and brings it home. This ball swung on and skied high in the air. Winkle chasing it back to the screen, and that'll get out of play here. Back to the bleachers. No cars in harm, or in harm's way, rather. And the count will be 0-2 here on Nate Baez. And Tim, here's where we might see him try to go to that strikeout pitch.
Yeah, and we didn't see that too much from Schlittler. Not a whole lot of getting ahead in counts this early, this aggressively. So far, a good start for Dombrowski.
See what he has here. No balls, 2 strikes. Another long look back to second. Really checking the runner. Now he'll bring the pitch home and tries to go with a high fastball. Fouled back to the screen. And the count goes to 0-2. Of course, the sun will still be on the field for a little while, Tim, but we'll be getting some shade here in about 20 minutes. The sun begins to set behind the press box. Of course, we are set up right down the first base line.
Yeah, once those shadows start to get more drastic, I'll be interested to see if it affects the defensive play in the infield any more than play's already been affected today.
Shadows definitely a factor here at Red Wilson's. This ball is going to be belted out the right field. It'll get down in front of Lucky. They will hold the runner up at third, so it's just a single, the 3rd of the day for Nate Baez, as Chase Luttrell moves over to third, and runners are at the corners for Cade Hunter, who so far today is 0 for 2, a ground out and a fly out.
And that's where the dimensions of the field, as you listed them off earlier, Tyler, kind of play into the advantage of the Mariners. You have these infielders playing a bit more in, so because they don't have to cover so far back out, so Lucky close enough in right that YD did not feel comfortable sending the guy around.
Yeah, and probably not a great idea. We've seen Nick Lucky show off the arm, of course, in the season opener against Orleans, hosed a runner at home. And you got to think that's on the scouting report. Looks like a changeup here by Dombrowski, just a little low there, and the count starts at 1-0.
Yeah, you mentioned Lucky. I mean, he's been batting leadoff all season long. He's had some success there, but really just has done an excellent job out in right all season long for the Mariners.
Long look at the runner at first. Dombrowski brings home the next pitch, also off speed, this time in for a strike, and the count even at 1-1. Interestingly enough, typically, at least back in 2019, when I talked to Steve Gruenberg, the head pitching coach here for the Harwich Mariners, he gave me a couple of guys that could be long relievers for this team. This season, Dombrowski was the only guy noted specifically as being the kind of pitcher that could fill that role. As this ball swung on and fouled back, count will be 1-2 here on Cade Hunter. So expect to see him eat up some innings here in this game, regardless of what happens.
Well, that's the kind of outing you want. I mean, Mariner starters haven't gone all that deep into the game. I think they've only had one guy go 6 innings, and that was Evan Shawver twice. You know, other than that, I think Sinicola went 5 innings once. It's really just been these 3-4 inning outings all season long.
Yeah, of course, expecting to see that pick up later on as they have a better sense of what they have out in the bullpen. But certainly a lot of guys with high pitch counts. They've got a lot of strikeouts, but they've had to really earn them Here is a check swing. They say he went around, and Cade Hunter will be the first strikeout victim of the day from Trey Dombrowski.
Yeah, he tried to pass it off as if he didn't really bite on that one, but he certainly did. And call made behind the plate by home plate umpire Frank Auditori, a correct one.
Of course, that classic, what, me? Swing? No. That'll bring up Pascal Ferreras, who is no stranger to the strikeout, 0 for 2 with a pair of Ks today. But a prime opportunity with runners at corners and 2 outs for his first hit. Takes a big cut at the first pitch he sees and fouls it off the mask behind home plate of Pat Winkle, who, as we mentioned before, could be making his final start for the M's here tonight.
Yeah, and it'd be tough to lose him, as, you know, at some point or another the Mariners are expecting to, but a guy who's come in a veteran role and has been able to help guide these guys along through the first week and a half of the season since guys have been coming in.
Absolutely. Here comes Dombrowski's 0-1. Runner takes off for second. They will allow him to advance, so Nate Baez moves up 90 feet. Runners at second and third, but as you may or may not have heard from the home plate umpire, strike called, and it's an 0-2 count here on Pascal Ferreras. Dombrowski has already gotten 1 strikeout so far, looking to get out of this inning unscathed. Still no runs across, but again, Chase Luttrell at third, Nate Baez at second. No balls and 2 strikes the count here in the home half of the 4th. Dombrowski taking his time, comes set. Long look in right now. The southpaw kicks, delivers. That one in the dirt. Good stop there. Runner takes off for the plate. Winkle picks it up. It won't be in time. And on a passed ball, the 6th run of the day comes across for YD in the form of Chase Luttrell. They lead it 6-2 as Nate Baez slides over to third.
Yeah, a funky bounce ends up coming up and biting Winkle in the face, actually. I think that's part of why we see home plate umpire Frank Auditori brushing off the home dish as Winkle needed to take a moment. A tough break if you're the Mariners. You were looking to get out of another 2-out jam, but a run does scratch across this time.
So an opportunity to get the batter again with a 1-2 count. Here comes the pitch. And this one's going to be swung on and lifted high and deep out to left, hooking, and that will get out of play. A foul ball there on a well-struck ball by Ferreras. But going back to that passed ball, it looked like it bounced directly off the plate, which you usually don't see. It came up and got Winkle in the chest protector, and then, as you mentioned, Tim, bounces off his helmet, which puts it off to the right side, enough for the runner to come across and score.
Yeah, just a funky bounce. Like you said, something you don't typically see. Mariners not getting a whole lot to bounce their way so far this game.
No pun intended.
Of course, no.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Pascal Ferreras, looking to avoid the hat trick. Dombrowski would be more than happy to hand him that 3rd K. Another long look in, the 1-2. In there, strike 3. Blew a fastball by him. Ferreras never even offered. And through his first 3 at-bats, it is 3 Ks on the day for Pascal Ferreras. But a run comes across. Chase Luttrell scores, and the Red Sox lead it 6-2. Back to the 5th we go. Mariners up to bat when we come back here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back to baseball here from Yarmouth Dennis. Tyler Henry alongside my broadcast partner today, Tim Foley. And Tim, it's certainly a nicer day for baseball now that we're in the shade. Of course, the sun's still beaming down, but this is what you have to do when you play at a field with no lights. The 5 o'clock start, and because of that, the only game going on in the CCBL right now.
Yeah, we've been so used to having these starts over in Orleans or, of course, at home in Harwich, these 6:30, 7 o'clock start times, and just kind of watching the whole league play out and reporting finals as they come in, but not today.
Yep, today we will be the ones leading the charge as First pitch will miss down and in here from Dombrowski. Of course, we now have the Dombrowski v. Dombrowski matchup out there on the bump today, as the second pitch from Nick Dombrowski will miss low, and the count goes to 2-0. The batter right now, Cade Beloso. It'll be the 7, 8, and 9 men due up here for the Mariners, with Ben Malgieri on deck and Press Kavanaugh in the hole. The lefty sets and delivers a pitch that'll miss up, and the count goes to 3-0 here on Cade Beloso. Of course, notably here, Tim, the team leading the CCBL in walks without a walk today.
Yeah, really interesting. I mean, they've been swinging at a lot.
The 3-0 in there. Bat on the shoulder there for Beloso. That bat will come off now. And there'll be a 3-1 count here to the Mariners DH. Beloso right now trying to snap a cold streak of 0 for 13 with 6 strikeouts. Swings on the ball, hits it hard up the middle. This will have a chance to get through. Coming across the second baseman, steps, fires to first, but not nearly in time. Good effort there by Hoffman, but it won't be enough to get Beloso. And just as I mentioned that, Cade Beloso snaps out of the cold streak, and he is aboard here for the M's with nobody out.
And a broken bat is the call from the bat boy. A nice job by Beloso to finally get something going. You mentioned it, on a bit of a cold streak. That's got to feel good to finally get one.
Yeah, anything you can do to get yourself going. And honestly, we've seen guys, it doesn't matter if it's a bloop single to the outfield, a play like that. Anything can reactivate you, as Ben Malgieri will take the first pitch here for a strike. Not 100% sure if we had a chance to mention it earlier, but just in case, a look at what Dombrowski has on offer. A fastball, a changeup, and a slider, as he'll miss with a fastball inside to even the count at 1-1. His best pitch is that changeup, and we've seen him get a couple of guys with that so far this afternoon. 1 ball and 1 strike, the count right now to Ben Malgieri. 0 for 1 with the ground out today. Here comes the pitch. And he will take that in there for a strike. Press Kavanaugh, the man due up next. Then back to the top of the lineup with Nick Lucky. Defensive AB needed here for Ben Malgieri. As far as on-base percentage, it's been very good for Malgieri this year. He'll have to be protective, though. The 1-2, big swing and a miss, comes up empty. And that'll be the 4th strikeout of the day here for the aforementioned Nick Dombrowski.
Yeah, it's really just been a lot of contact from the Mariners. I mean, flying out to the outfield a few times. Infield's been putting in some work for YD. And they've been patient, haven't been striking out a whole lot. So it's just about finding these gaps when you get these hits.
Yeah, they've struck the ball well in this game. It just seems like right at people pretty consistently. First pitch in there for a called strike. Watching it go by is Press Kavanaugh.
Of course, as we mentioned, the weather certainly a factor here and how the ball's been popping off of the bats.
Yeah, it's just been carrying through the air. Humidity, probably the lowest it's been all season, I feel pretty comfortable saying. As the 0-1 is down in the dirt. Unfortunately, we do not have the services of our chief meteorologist, Colin Casey, on this broadcast. We really enjoyed his weather report during that rainout.
Yeah, that was a good one.
1 ball, 1 strike. The count right now on Press Kavanaugh. Dombrowski sets, brings home the pitch. Big swing and a ball laced into right field. That'll get down in front of Luttrell, who picks it up. 2 aboard here for the Mariners as Press Kavanaugh reaches, and now with 1 away in the inning, Tim, 2 aboard here for Nick Lucky.
I mean, there you go. Press Kavanaugh, first Cape League hit. That's got to feel good. And it was a good one, too. Bringing one right over the second baseman's head. Made a dive at it, but didn't really have a chance at it. Well hit ball and great opportunity, as you said, now here for Lucky.
Give an A for effort out there, though, to Hoffman, who has been diving at anything within his radius. But he can't come up with the last couple, and the Mariners with an opportunity to come back in this one. First pitch is going to miss just off the plate here. A 1-0 count to start the at-bat for Nick Lucky. Lucky 0 for 2 today, a strikeout and a ground out. Batting with runners in scoring, or a runner in scoring position, and Brock Wilkin looming on deck.
Yeah, this is what you want to do. Just get on base somehow, leave it up to the big guy to drive something around.
Of course, middle infielders playing a double play depth. Quick pickoff move back to first. Nobody really holding the runner on there. No risk of actually catching the runner napping.
Yeah, Kavanaugh, of course, though, he's not peeking back at that bag. So as soon as he sees that pitcher turn, he's just automatically instincts, you dive right back.
And Steve Englert is going to walk out and have a word with the first base umpire. And I'm wondering if he's arguing that that may have been a balk.
That's what I was just thinking. He's having a conversation with the umpire here. That's the only thing that really could have gone awry for YD on that play, but doesn't look like anything's going to come of it.
It ends up being a very brief conversation. It's worth going out to check. But unfortunately for the Mariners, the runners stay at first and second. It's Cade Beloso on second. The DH today, Press Kavanaugh on first. Nick Lucky at the plate with a 1-0 count. Mariners trail it 6-2 here in the visitors' sixth. The pitch swung on and chopped. This one will be out of play on the wrong side of the chalk line, picked up by Baez at first.
Some good signs here from Lucky, putting the bat on the ball, as of course 0 for 2. But could come up with something here.
See what happens on a 1-1. The southpaw working has managed to keep all but 2 runs off the board so far today. The 1-1. Out the fastball, that'll miss upstairs. Count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. And that'll give us an opportunity now to take a look around the league. A couple of other games getting underway here. Mentioned we were the first start time at 5 o'clock. Taking a look at some other action going on around the Cape. Katuitt up 3-0 on Hyannis. After a wild pitch and a early single, the Harbor Hawks fall behind in the top of the first. This ball fouled back to the screen, and I don't really understand how it's possible, because you get to reset your team every year, but Hyannis just continues to struggle. They have had 5 winning seasons in the last 20 years. That's it. And that was culminated 2 seasons ago in a 9-31 effort in a 50-game season. Correction, a 9-41 effort. Same season, the Harwich Mariners reached the Cape League Finals. I'm sure they would love a repeat trip to that. As the 2-2 is a late ball call. That was awfully close, but laid off by Nick Lucky, and it's a full count.
He's laid off some tough pitches in this last at-bat. That last one in particular, just missing outside, and then that high fastball that can look so good as a hitter because it's right at your eyes, but your hands can't catch up to it. So a really nice job laying off in a good at-bat here for Lucky.
So here we go. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 away, 2 on. And a ball fouled away here by Lucky, who will live to fight another pitch.
Yeah, another high fastball. Nice job staying alive, keeping it foul, chopping it off. You're not going to find a whole lot with that typically, and so good job getting a piece of it. Stays alive for another pitch. Now going to try to find something he likes.
Lucky, the leadoff man, usually setting the table, now with an opportunity to, at the very least, try to move the runners over. Anything but a double play or a strikeout helps you here. And as we mentioned, a dangerous part of the lineup, Brock Wilkin, Carter Putz, Pat Winkle due up next. But right now, a 3-2. Nick Dombrowski taking a lot of time to look in for the sign here. Wants to make sure he gets this pitch right. 1 away here in the inning. Dombrowski sets the pitch. And it'll be fouled off. This time off, it appears to be the catcher's mask of Hunter. So the count stays full.
I mean, I think one of the best at-bats of the days for the Mariners. I mean, it's been a lengthy one. They're making Dombrowski work here. Hasn't had to do that a whole lot. Mariners have been hitting a lot to contact. But a really nice piece of batting here. A lot of fouls.
Yeah, we're used to seeing a lot of these out of the M's. Really the first time we've seen a long AB here in this one. Count still 3-2. Dombrowski, the southpaw, looks back to second, brings home the pitch. It's spoiled again, and we will do it again. Again, a beautiful piece of hitting here by Nick Lucky. At the very least, racking up the pitch count of Dombrowski. I'm sure after the start to this one, the Mariners would love to get into that bullpen.
Yes, certainly. I mean, of course, you never know what's going to be awaiting in that YD bullpen, as I don't believe we see anybody warming up. Actually, no, correction, there is someone warming up over there. But certainly you want to get this guy off the mound. He's been throwing it well.
Have a stat on that bullpen in just a moment, but for now, another 3-2 pitch. Here it comes. Breaking ball, got him swinging. Nick Lucky down for the 5th strikeout of the outing. And that will bring up Brock Wilkin. I mentioned earlier that the Mariners may want to try to get into the bullpen, but the bullpen has been very good for YD so far this season. It has certainly not been one of the issues for the team that currently sits atop the East, as the last 12 consecutive innings for the bullpen have been scoreless for this Red Sox squad.
And that's just the nature of the league. I mean, you're getting top guys from around the country. As a hitter, you just need to worry about who's on the mound and not who might be coming out.
First pitch to Wilkin, in there for a called strike, as the Wake Forest product falls behind here 0-1.
I mean, so that was a nice at-bat from Lucky. You take that, make Dombrowski do some work here, but now you need some action with 2 outs from a guy who's been delivering for you all season.
And I mean, you feel like you get 2 guys on base with 1 away as Wilkin cranks this one out to left field, but it's not going to have the distance. Settling under it to make the catch out there is Smith, and that'll do it for the visitors' 5th. Nobody comes across to score. The Mariners threaten but do not strike. We head to the home half of inning number 5. Mariners 2, Red Sox 6. You're watching here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back at Red Wilson Field, Tyler Henry alongside Tim Foley. Another inning of work coming up here for Trey Dombrowski, who settled in pretty quickly. He gave up a quick single to Nate Baez, came back and got the last 2 guys on strikeouts, and now he will have the freedom to do whatever he wants, facing the 8, 9, and 1 hitters Wyatt Hoffman, Briley Knight, and Peyton Graham.
You definitely want to have some success as a pitcher against these first 2 batters, because once you hit that top of the lineup, I mean, they have been red hot here at Red Wilson all afternoon.
Absolutely. Talking especially about Peyton Graham, who's got 2 doubles and a home run. Not a bad start to his day. First pitch will miss upstairs here to Wyatt Hoffman. Wanted to take a look here and just kind of give you guys an update on what's going on across the CCBL as far as the standings. Yes, technically, this is a meeting between the first and last place teams in the East, as this is a big swing and a miss here by Wyatt Hoffman. But interestingly enough, Tim, all 5 teams in the East and 3 of the 5 teams in the West have 3 wins.
Yeah, it's been a tight start to the year.
Next pitch on the way, another big cut. Coming up empty again is Wyatt Hoffman, who is 1 for 2.
And I think you can credit that to the fact that there's been so many ties, that there's just been such a low amount of wins actually recorded by teams across the league.
Absolutely. Fewer losses recorded as well. It's the 1-2 pitch, swung on and taken up the middle. That's going to get through, and it's a leadoff single for Wyatt Hoffman, his second base hit of the day, as the Red Sox are in business with nobody out. That'll bring up Briley Knight, who's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. But yeah, it's interesting because in the East, you've got it very close right now. I mean, Harwich from last place, they're only a game and a half out of first. And then in the West, you've got Bourne, who have been red hot at 6-0-1, and Hyannis at 1-6, really the only team lagging behind the rest of the league.
Yeah, and typically you'll see a lot of teams just kind of stay grouped at the start of the year, but certainly the West, a different story.
This ball swung on and taken out to right. That's going to get down once again in front of Nick Lucky. They will go ahead and send the runner around as Wyatt Hoffman gets to third, and it's back-to-back singles here for the Red Sox. And now, Tim, that dangerous top of the lineup leading off here, Peyton Graham coming to the plate.
Yeah, defensively, and just from while the Mariners have been in the infield, they have not had a real easy inning, facing at least 5 batters in every inning so far. It's been tough going for the Mariners, and now with no outs, runners already on the corners, and as we've mentioned already, this top of the lineup, which has been dangerous.
Yeah, this has been the situation for YD so far, I believe, in almost every inning that they've had. They've had a guy in scoring position with 1 or no outs. So see if they can capitalize here. Harwich actually, when you really look at the numbers, they're fortunate to only be down by 4 in this game. You see, already in this one, 7 runners stranded by the Red Sox. This pitch misses upstairs. Count goes even at 1-1 here on Peyton Graham, who has been hitting pretty much anything thrown within bat radius today. After him will be Tanner Smith, who has yet to record an official hit today. The only guy in the top 4 to do that. Correction, in the top 5. The 1-1. That'll miss upstairs as well. Count goes to 2-1. And you can see Dombrowski trying to be cautious, approaching a guy who's already had a lot of success today.
Yeah, you can't let this thing get too much further away from you. You know you've had some offensive success, but you need to have your guys stay motivated.
2-1. And that'll miss up as well. 3 straight pitches out of the zone, all of them up, and is a 3-1 count. Of course, part of that as well, talked about the runners left on base. 13 hits in this thing already for YD. They have really been seeing Harwich lefties well today. Here's Dombrowski's 3-1. That'll get in there for a strike, and the count full here as he battles back.
Yeah, good changeup from Dombrowski. Be interested to see what he goes here on a full count.
Already 2 strikeouts in the outing. I'm sure he would love to pick up a third here. It could be crucial with Tanner Smith on deck. Payoff pitch. Runner goes in there. Strike 3. The runner will move up 90 feet. So runners on second and third here as Briley Knight swipes second, but 1 away as Peyton Graham records his first out of the day on a looking strikeout.
I think it's a good move by Winkle because if you throw that down to second, you know the runner over at third and Wyatt Hoffman's going to be gunning for home. And if you're Harwich, again, you really want to slow down what the Red Sox have been doing all game long. So you take your chances, 2 in scoring position now, rely on your defense, rely on your pitching to get you out of this inning.
And notably, a guy who's 0 for 2 at the plate, although depending on how you look at it, you could see that as him just being due for a big hit. Tanner Smith, as I mentioned, 0 for 2, reached on an error, came around to score back in the first. And as the first pitch by Dombrowski is delivered in for a strike, Tim, that may be another reason you don't test it and throw it down to second. You've also got 4 errors on the scoreboard. Maybe not the time to be pushing it.
No, certainly not. It's been a bit of a tough going, especially with the sun at such a low angle now, as we were talking about earlier, the sun playing a factor.
Yep, here comes the 0-1. That'll miss inside. Ducking out of the way here is Tanner Smith. And the count even at 1 ball, 1 strike. Golden opportunity here for YD. Seems like they've had these all afternoon. But as we mentioned, they have left plenty on the bags. The 1-1 in there. Strike 2. Not even a look there from Tanner Smith.
Yeah, he's had a couple of those pitches this inning, Dombrowski, where these YD pitchers or batters rather, are just kind of looking at it. And they're not liking what they're seeing. Really good stuff from Dombrowski in these past few at-bats.
Tanner Smith going to have to be a little bit less of a picky eater here with a 1-2 count. Here comes the pitch. Just off the outside part of the plate, tough to lay off, but the Red Sox left fielder does so, and it's a 2-2 count.
Yeah, that was a nice pitch, just missing outside. It was at good level there. Another good pitch from Dombrowski. See what he comes back with.
Plenty of options. We mentioned a 4-pitch guy for Dombrowski. Here comes the 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He got him. Trey Dombrowski rings up Tanner Smith, strikeout number 4.
I mean, he's dialed it in these past 2 at-bats. Neither Peyton Graham nor Tanner Smith really looked too comfortable at the plate as he gets them both to go down, one looking, one swinging. Nice job by Dombrowski to settle in after allowing 2 hits to lead off the inning.
And speaking of 2 hits, that's what the next man who steps to the plate has today. Brooks Lee, a 3-run home run and a single. First pitch on the way, lined into the crowd. But it appears everybody paying attention. Nobody on their cell phone here at Red Wilson Field, which is always good to see.
I mean, I'm sure over the years these Red Sox fans have learned, especially with no fence, no netting down that third base side, you have to be on your toes.
Yeah, the lack of netting is kind of the interesting move here, as you've also got the good old open dugouts. The 0-1. This will miss low. Also worth noting here, Tim, there was 1 away when Dombrowski came into the game in the 4th inning. So far, he's retired 4 guys. All 4 have been strikeouts.
Yeah, strikeout guy, and he's looked like it this inning.
The 1-1. little half-hearted. I don't even know if that was a check swing. He ties Brooke Lee up in knots, and it's now a 1-2. Lee was caught halfway between trying to check his swing, trying to make contact with the ball. It just looked awkward, and he falls behind 1-2.
Yeah, that's a funky little check right there.
So we'll see. Again, Dombrowski, 4 strikeouts, 4 outs recorded. The 1-2. Got him swinging. 5 Ks in as many outs here for Trey Dombrowski. He is cruising. And once again, the Red Sox will strand 2 on the base paths as Harwich comes back up to bat. To the 6th inning we go. Still a 6-2 lead for the homestanding Red Sox. More baseball right around the corner. You're listening here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back to baseball here at Red Wilson Field. Tyler Henry alongside Tim Foley as we get set for the 6th inning of play. But first, Mariners fans want to remind you that today's game is sponsored by Milton Cat, your Cape and Islands Milton Cat dealers. Proud to be a sponsor of today's ball game. Coming up here for the Mariners, it'll be Carter Putz, Pat Winkle, and Zach Preisner. They will be in to face Brandon Dufault, who has had a, let's call it an interesting season so far. He's made just 1 outing. It was actually against the Harwich Mariners. He hit 1 batter, struck out 1 batter, and that was it. Ends up pitching just the 1 inning, as we mentioned, came in to close out a 3-0 Whitey victory. He is on here to face the M's, and Tim, looking back at that outing again, we didn't get a chance to see a lot out of him, but Brandon Dufault has some good stuff.
Yeah, he certainly does, and if you're Harwich, you have to hope that you can get a jump on him early, kind of unsettle him, because we've seen on Harwich's side at this point what can happen when a relief pitcher settles in and starts throwing his stuff. So chance here now for a guy in Putz, and he's a guy you want up if you're Harwich to get it going.
Absolutely. Wind really starting to pick up right now, blowing out to right field at times, just completely whipping the flag on the scoreboard out that direction. Certainly could be more of a hitter's advantage as this ball is going to be struck by Putz, but right at the second baseman, picked up by Hoffman, throw to first in time, 1 away.
I mean, I like the approach. You're being a bit more aggressive, but of course not the result you want when you take an early pitch and send it right at the second baseman.
Yeah, I mean, aggressiveness certainly helps, but also interesting. I mean, it feels like Harwich has almost built their brand this season on patience, and a lot of quick outs recorded. It allowed the pitch count to stay low for Nick Dombrowski, and so far, 1 pitch, 1 out recorded here by Dufault. He will now face Pat Winkle. First pitch is a fastball that'll miss down around the knees, and the count starts at 0-1. Winkle, of course, had the home run back in the 2nd inning. 1 for 2 today, the home run and a ground out. Also does close the book on Nick Dombrowski. We'll get you some final numbers on him here in a moment. Another pitch that misses low, back-to-back pitches around the knees, and it's a 2-0 count here on Winkle. Brandon Dufault, the righty. elects to work out of the stretch here. No windup for Dufault. His 2-0 pitch. Another one low. This one catches the zone, and it's a 2-1 count here to the Mariners catcher. Two balls, one strike. Winkle sets. Here comes the pitch. That'll miss in the dirt. So everything down here early, Tim. Really not trying to give Winkle anything good to swing at. That home run maybe in the back of his mind.
Yeah, perhaps as this ballpark, you guys mentioned it. You mentioned it earlier. I should say in the broadcast, that 2019 stint here, Winkle, he likes this ballpark.
He certainly does. 3-1. Big swing and a ball fouled back to the screen. Count goes to 3-2. Of course, the one thing that does kind of make this field here at Red Wilson distinct, you got the house out in right, certainly far beyond the fence, but we've seen a couple of balls hit close. That house also part of the reason there are no lights here. So they don't want to disturb the residents of the neighborhood. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The count right now, Brandon Dufault pitching to Pat Winkle. The payoff pitch. Swung on and fouled away. We'll do it again, and more of these long at-bats, kind of what we're accustomed to seeing this season.
Most certainly. And, you know, we saw it last inning with Lucky, really nice quality at-bat. This is what you want to see from a guy early in an appearance for a pitcher, with Dufault just coming on. Kind of get into his mind a bit, make it tough for him to feel confident in any kind of strikeout pitch.
Dufault sets. The righty kicks and delivers another payoff. This will miss high, and it's going to be a walk issued here to Pat Winkle with 1 away.
And that's the first walk of the day taken by a Mariner, despite the success they've had in that statistical category all season long.
Absolutely. That'll bring up Zach Preisner at the RBI single to give the Mariners their second run. They still trail at 6-2 here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Corey Acton and then Cade Beloso due up next. Dufault with a runner on, stays in the stretch. Pitch in there for a called strike. Taking a look at some of the statistics on the season, Harwich still leading the league with 39 strikeouts. Bourne, the next closest team, with 32. How about this? YD, dead last in strikeouts, 16 through the team's first 8 games. This ball gets away from the catcher. That'll allow the runner to move up 90 feet as Winkle takes his base at second, turns and takes a look. That is astounding, though. YD is currently being doubled up by the Harwich Mariners in walks this season.
Yeah, I mean, interesting considering, you know, the kind of caliber pitching that typically is brought into these Cape League teams, but I mean, it's worked well for them so far. They're finding ways to win, even regardless of having to put up high strikeout numbers.
1 ball, 1 strike. The count right now. Wind blowing to straightaway left. This ball's gonna be hit. A little chopper to short, picked up there by Lee. Steps, throws off the bag, but the tag applied by the first baseman Baez. 2 away.
Yeah, a play like that, runner going down to first. And it was a tough throw made from the shortstop. It pulled the first baseman off the bag, as you said. I wonder, as the batter running down to first, what's going through your mind if you're focusing on where specifically the first baseman is, because that feels like a chance where Harwich could have snuck one on there.
It does, but at the same time, I feel like the best players just kind of keep their head down. You don't want to get caught watching the baseball. But yeah, once you see the first baseman come off the bag, you certainly do have a couple of options. It's such a bang-bang thing. You typically don't see guys slide into first. As the first pitch to Acton will miss upstairs. Count starts at 1-0. Of course, that's one of the age-old debates in baseball. Is it actually helpful to slide into first base? Some major league players have been criticized for the head-first slide into first. But if you have a chance to get under the tag, it feels like there's really no reason not to give it a shot. Dufault's 1-0. That'll miss inside. Count goes to 2-0, and Tim, Dufault falling behind these guys early.
Yeah, it hasn't really served. I mean, of course, 2 outs already, but this is, I think, the most success Mariners have had when it comes to being patient. Dombrowski like to go after guys a bit more and kind of throw some pitches that were a lot more enticing for these Mariners to swing at, but these pitches from Dufault have been a lot easier to lay off of for Harwich.
Yep, 2 away in the inning here. Runner on second. Pitch on the way. Big swing and a ball fouled away here by Corey Acton. If they can get to him, Cade Beloso stands on deck. After snapping the cold streak, you feel like his bat may have a big impact here. Opportunity to again try to get Harwich going. Still trailing in this one by 4. Again, here in the top half of inning number 6. Acton stands in, a 2-1 count. Here's the pitch from Dufault. That'll miss again. Count goes to 3-1.
It's been a lot of these low pitches from Dufault. They're just not biting like I'm sure he wants them to. And Harwich, again, just having an easy time holding off on a lot of these.
Yeah, early on, seeming like Dufault trying to get a lot of ground balls here early in this game. A little over halfway through, trying to keep everything down, trusting his defense and keeping everything around the bottom half of the zone. 3 balls, 1 strike, the pitch, and that will miss low as well. So back-to-back walks here issued. Corey Acton will take his base, and it's first and second with 2 away for the aforementioned Cade Beloso.
Second that walk was delivered, Beloso wasted no time heading towards that batter's box. He's excited for an opportunity here to create some offense for his team.
And unfortunately, his efforts to get to the batter's box quickly will be wasted as Hunter comes out to have a word with his pitcher. Gives him a pat on the backside and heads back to the box. So clearly they want to talk about how to approach Cade Beloso, or it may just be a bit of a note to try to get the ball up a bit here. Again, almost every pitch that we've seen missed here has been down. But with the wind blowing out to right field and a lefty at the plate, you certainly don't want to miss up to a guy like Cade Beloso. Again, first and second here, 2 away in the inning. Mariners trailing this one by 4. First pitch on the way. Big swing and a miss here by Beloso. Still maybe a bit early to be mentioning this, but for what it's worth, Ben Malgeri standing on deck does represent the tying run. And now the scoreboard is off here at Fred Wilson Field. Not that we would have noticed, no other lights to speak of. Off-speed pitch in there for a strike. That'll make it an 0-2 count here on Beloso, who will have to tighten up a bit.
Yeah, different approach from the mound and Dufault this time around. Doesn't want to mess around too much. Don't want to walk the bases loaded.
Beloso snapped that cold streak on a broken bat, hit out to the center field. Now he falls behind 0-2 with 2 outs in the inning. The pitch. That'll miss in the dirt. Count goes to 1-2.
Yeah, tries going back down to that low pitch. I mean, you certainly don't want to give up a base hit with 2 strikes on a guy. So, pitcher like Dufault, he likes to try and fool guys with the changeup. No surprise he throws something off speed there, or just down low it was anyway.
I feel like I should record myself saying Dufault misses low and then just get a little button that'll play it back every time it happens. It's been that frequent of an occurrence here early in his outing. The 1-2. Swung on by Beloso, skied high in the air. This will stay just on the inside part of the outfield grass. Tracking it back is Lee, and he makes the catch for out number 3. So the Mariners once again get runners on. Can't bring anybody across to score. To the home half of inning number 6 we go. Still a 6-2 lead for the Red Sox here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back here at the ballpark, Tyler Henry alongside Tim Foley as we get set for the home half of inning number 6. The offensive fireworks that we saw early in this game, Tim, have calmed down a little bit as the last couple of innings have seemed to breeze by. Still plenty of daylight here at Red Wilson Field, and it'll be the heart of the order due up for YD. Chase Luttrell, Nate Baez, and Cade Hunter for the Red Sox. Another inning of work coming up here for Dombrowski, who gets a ground ball just foul down the first base line to start his 6th inning.
Yeah, you want another shutdown inning from Dombrowski. Can't, again, mentioned it last inning, can't afford to fall behind by too much more at this point, especially the later on this game gets. These Harwich bats, they've found some success in getting on base, getting back to their old ways last inning. It's just about playing good defense and then trying to develop that even further at bat.
Yep, both teams have stranded a bunch of runners as the count now goes to 0-2. Chase Luttrell falls behind. So far, he's reached base 3 times today. A single, a double, and an error. But it's been tough going against Trey Dombrowski. Here comes his 0-2. Check swing. They will appeal, and he went. So how about that? 6 strikeouts now for Trey Dombrowski. And, man, it's a slow day to be a Harwich defender right now.
Yeah, I mean, they had quite the exciting beginning to this game with all the action that was going on in the infield, a few errors, a lot of action being thrown around, but Dombrowski really settling things down.
This ball swung on and hit high in the air out to center, chasing it in. That's going to fall in the gap out in left center correction. It'll be picked up by the left fielder, Press Kavanaugh, and there's a single from Nate Baez. That'll bring up Cade Hunter. But it does not break the streak of every out being a strikeout.
No, it doesn't, and Dombrowski has given up a few of these. Yep. But you know that he can bring it back and strike guys out.
Absolutely. Notably in the 5th inning, Wyatt Hoffman and Briley Knight back-to-back singles, nobody out. And then Dombrowski gets back and picks up 3 consecutive strikeouts to fan the top of the order. Here he'll deliver a pitch outside of the zone to Cade Hunter, who is 0 for 3, a strikeout, a groundout, and a flyout. He does not lack variety as the lefty stands in the 1-0. In there for a strike. Beautiful pitch there by Dombrowski. He's had that off-speed working today. So 1-1 the count right now. Short lead off first for Nate Baez, and they will still check over to first. Dombrowski wanting to keep him maybe a little bit closer. Baez a bit smaller than your average first baseman, although standing about the same height as Carter Butts over there on first right now. Again, a very short lead, leaning back towards the first base bag. Here comes the 1-1, and that's in there for strike 2.
YD just keeps looking at these pitches over the plate. I mean, Dombrowski's just, they don't know what to expect from him every single pitch.
Yeah, part of the perks of having 4 pitches to work with. A little bit tougher to guess at the plate. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Make it 7 Ks on the afternoon for Trey Dombrowski, and he is looking virtually unhittable.
Yeah, he's keeping Harwich in this game. He's really settled things down since he's come in. He's given up a few hits, but, I mean, there's the number right there, 7 strikeouts for the lefty.
Yep, absolutely. Since checking into the game, his defense has not had to record a single out. He'll now face Pascal Ferreras, who takes strike 1. There it is again, Tim, and Ferreras was the second guy that he set down. He just set down Cade Hunter for a second time, trying to do the same to Ferreras.
I mean, we've talked about it all season. Good things happen for the Mariners on the mound when they get ahead in counts.
Quick look over to first base. Absolutely, that's been the note. That was the note back in 2019. It's the note this year, and it may seem obvious, but there are pitchers that kind of play around a little bit early in the count. That is not the case for the M's this year or any year, as they want all of their pitchers to be very aggressive early on. Here is the 0-1 to Ferreras, who will once again watch strike 2, and you see a grimace on his face. He's frustrated, not because he doesn't like the call, but because he knew he should have offered.
Mm-hmm. It's just the same story as the same of the past 7 strikeouts. These guys really just cannot get a read.
7 outs recorded by Dombrowski, all via the K, and 0-2 count the pitch. Swing and a ball skied high, staying alive here is Pascanel Ferreras. I mean, I don't think we've seen a streak of strikeouts like this. Even out of Evan Shaver, he was able to retire, I believe, 5 in a row. Saw something similar out of Billy Seidel earlier this season, I believe 5 strikeouts, but 7 in a row here for Trey Dombrowski. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. That is 8 in a row. Trey Dombrowski giving his defense a much-deserved rest. He has retired 8 batters, all of them on strikeouts, and we will head to the 7th inning of play. Still a 6-2 lead for the Mariners. You're watching it right here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back to baseball here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network, and for the final 3 innings of play-by-play, I'll turn it back over to my broadcast partner, Tim Foley. Tim?
Thanks, Tyler. We're back now. Ben Malgiri leads it off. We'll also see Press Kavanaugh and Nick Lucky here in the top half of the 7th inning. And as successful as things have been for the Mariners on the mound, you have to start putting it together now at the plate, down by 4, if you want to have a chance to come back and pick up a win here in the East Division. First pitch seen by the batter Malgiri, takes a bounce over towards the concession stands, and a swarm of children chases after that one.
Like someone out of World War Z.
Yeah, one of the more frightening sights to see at a Cape League game. Certainly, if it comes your way, if it's in your hand, you're not gonna be keeping it for long. You're gonna be guilted out of it. The 0-1 pitch down low in the dirt, a 1-1 count now.
It's the sad eyes that get you. Isn't that right, Tim?
It is. It is.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Harwich can get it going offensively with the way Trey Dombrowski's been pitching, they've got a guy on the bump that could probably get them through the next couple of innings.
As this one misses, now a 3-1 count. Harwich going back to that, or I suppose just a bit too fast on the scoreboard for my taste. A 2-1 count now, as Harwich going back to their patient ways, holding off on a lot of these pitches, as Dufault keeps sending it down low. 2-1 count. This one does stay up, finds the strike zone. Count evens up at 2-2.
Yep. Count is 2-2, I believe, as again, scoreboard still having some issues.
There it is, 2-2 on the scoreboard here at Red Wilson. Ball cracked on the ground, going over towards second, picked up by Hoffman. Throw on to first, got him. Down goes Malgiri, a close play over at first. There's one down in the 7th.
Yep, another really good throw. I'm telling you, one of the better defensive second basemen that we see. Hoffman has been putting on a show today, and even on the balls he hasn't gotten to, the effort has been there. Harwich going to have to try to put it somewhere else as Press Kavanaugh steps to the plate.
Kavanaugh up to the plate, a single bright spot of sunlight peeping through just on the right side of that lefty batter's box. For the most part, the infield from the pitcher's mound to the plate is covered. Third base has been overshadowed as well, but short second and first each still having to fight off some sunlight coming over from the third base side. A 1-0 count here with 1 out to Press Kavanaugh. 1 for 2 on the afternoon, singled in his last at-bat back in the 5th inning. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Kavanaugh his second hit in a Mariners uniform. Gets into the outfield just past the second baseman, and there it is again. Wyatt Hoffman laying out just past his glove. A for effort again, as we've said time and time here, but a one-out single for the Mariners, and chance now with Nick Lucky, the leadoff man, coming up to bat.
Yeah, and I believe that's actually the same spot almost that Kavanaugh got his first single up the right side, just past that outstretched glove of Hoffman. So as you mentioned, it'll be the top of the order here now with Nick Lucky. Harwich has only had 2 1-2-3 innings offensively. They've had guys on. But again, as it has been all season, at times struggling to bring him around.
Again, it's Lucky at the plate. He has struck out twice already. Has also grounded out to second, and he takes a big cut at the first offering. 0-1.
Yeah, way behind that one. As Dufault pitching pretty well so far. Still looking for his first strikeout, though.
He's given out 2 walks already to Mariners batters. Another big cut from Lucky. Again, missing on it. 0-2.
Yeah, and Lucky right now either just sitting on the wrong pitch or potentially just not taking a step at the right time. Ahead of one, behind the other, and he falls behind 0-2.
Can he make the adjustment? This is a league, this is a sport of adjustments. Every pitch, every at-bat, every game really comes down to how you're able to react to the situation at hand. 0-2 count. Down in the dirt, and Nick Lucky gets a first look at a Dufault ball down low.
Yep, and that's more of what we saw back in that 6th inning. Again, Dufault kind of keeping everything down. So far, he's been a little bit more aggressive, trying to go at the hitters up in the zone, but we see him there trying to record the strikeout, goes back down in the lower half of the zone.
Lucky, a lefty, again, wind blowing out to right. Dufault staring in. He delivers. Got him looking. Strike 3 called is the call from Frank Auditore behind the plate, and it's the first strikeout for Dufault in this appearance.
Yep, another tough one there, and as you mentioned, the first K of the day for Dufault. Now he'll have a bit of a tougher out, at least typically, in Brock Wilken, who so far in this one is 0 for 3 with a strikeout.
But Wilken, a guy who has had a lot of success coming into today, leading the Mariners in batting average, .423. He's also got the largest sample size of the team, so to be able to do that and to be batting the most out of anybody, it goes to show he has been playing well. In case you haven't been following our Twitter, highlighting a lot of what he's done early in the season. 0-1 count early here to Wilken. We put a lot up there on our social media.
We certainly do. Of course, today on the live tweeting, it's live tweeting extraordinaire Colin Casey, in addition to being our lead meteorologist, broadcaster, and just about everything else, depending on the day.
And he's good at it, too.
Absolutely. Here's a ball in the dirt, swung on and missed.
Yeah, Wilken chasing after it there. As Dufault finally gets that ball down to the dirt to work for him. Wilken now, he'll have to adjust, of course, down 0-2 with 2 outs against him. Dufault stares in, gives a nod. The pitch. Checks his swing, ball gets away. Running to second now is Kavanaugh. Chance here for Harwich. And I know Colin Casey and I talked about this a bit on the broadcast yesterday, but for Harwich, you're down by 4, but you want to try to really jump on opportunities if you get them. Try to manufacture some runs if you can. Scratch them across. Really, anyway, tough with 2 outs. You have to get some base knocks, but good awareness by Kavanaugh to make the jump down to second in a game where Harwich is in dire need of some runs. 1-2 the count to Wilken. The pitch. Ball cracked on the ground. Picked up by the shortstop. Long throw over to first. Misses the first baseman's glove. Kavanaugh, he's going to come home. They will award him home base as the ball got caught up. It's a ground rule double for Brock Wilken. Or not a ground rule double, pardon me, but the ball got caught up on the throw over from short, and they do give him the base over to second.
Yeah, there's a gap in the fence over there on the right side, so that ball thrown, it gets by the first baseman, as you mentioned, goes out of play, and of course, anytime a ball is ruled dead out of play, everybody awarded a base. So a run comes across for Harwich, which is the important thing, And now it's just a 3-run ball game. This feels much more manageable. I know the difference between 3 and 4 isn't a lot in terms of actual numbers, but there's a different feel to it as a team, especially considering that right now you've got one runner on and the tying run standing in the on-deck circle.
Most certainly, and there have been plenty of instances, at least over these past few games, where the Mariners have been able to put together a good string of offense without recording it out. And so in need of some more of that right here. Conversation on the mound being had. Carter Putz is about to step into the batter's box. The day is done for Brandon Dufault as he goes an inning and 2/3. We'll give you his stat line once the book closes on him at the end of this inning. He is, of course, responsible for the runner on second in Brock Wilken. We'll take a quick break. We'll introduce the new Red Sox pitcher when we come back in just a minute. Don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back with you now here at Red Wilson Field. Carter Putz stepping in, the new pitcher on the mound for the Red Sox, Jacob Meter. He's pitched 4 complete innings so far for YD. He's given up 6 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, and he's struck out 6.
Yeah, and spare a thought for Carter Putz, who twice today has been in the on-deck circle, ready to go, ready to face the pitcher. He gets his timing down, as this first pitch will be in there for a called strike. And then the next thing you know, Scott Pickler's walking out to the mound to replace him, and he's got to face a new guy.
Yeah, tough as a batter to settle in when you're seeing a completely different guy, getting a different look, having to see where the pitch is being delivered from. As Meter, the righty. Dufault, of course, a righty as well. As this ball gets over the head of the catcher, going over to third now is going to be Wilken. So with 2 outs, Wilken advances. Cade Hunter could not come down with the high pitch that was thrown in by Jacob Meter.
And that's big. I mean, you've got a big run 90 feet away right now. Yes, there are 2 away in the inning, but at the same time, anything that gets him on base for the most part, except for maybe an infield single, should score the run.
And it's a 1-1 count here to Putz. The pitch misses inside. Count now sitting at 2-1.
Yep, some struggles on the scoreboard here, but it is in fact a 2-1 count.
Of course, at home, Chris Cassidy keeping you updated on that scoreboard. But here at Merrill Red Wilson, some difficulties. Ball fouled off, went off the ground, and Putz took it in the gut. He's currently sitting on home plate.
As much as I'm sure Carter Putz would love for that to have taken him in the gut, or taken that ball in the gut, it looked like it may have been a wee bit lower. So he takes a moment to collect himself. And I don't care how much padding you got, that hurts.
Now, certainly coming off of his bat, then the ground.
Coach Englert's going to come out to check on him here. As on the bright side, he does have a grin on his face and also chases the Harwich trainer out to have a word, and he's nodding his head. It looks like he just needs a moment, as anyone would.
Yeah, of course.
Tell you what, it doesn't matter how fast the pitch is coming in. This is always going to be one of the longest delays you have when somebody goes down. So on a 2-1 count, runner 90 feet away, and of course Harwich trying to build on an inning where they've already brought one run across.
Yeah, and, you know, it's always a toss-up whenever you get a new pitcher into the game. Is he going to come in right away and shut guys down, or is he going to be able to, or are the Harwich bats going to be able to pick him up right away and start producing? And in a good position to do so here with a runner already on third. Chance for putts to scratch one across.
And I don't know that you see this very often, but how about this? You saw the catcher Hunter go out and have a word with Jacob Meter, and they were staring at the batter talking about Carter Putts the entire time, but they weren't doing it on the mound. They were doing it about 6 feet away from him. I don't think he was able to hear anything, but that's got to feel awkward. You know they're talking about you, and now they'll try to get him with a 2-2 count.
Putts a little more preoccupied, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
He's facing a 2-2 count here. At bat resumes. Meter staring in the pitch. Tipped off, stays alive, 2-2.
Yeah, good to see him fight another pitch off, and again, trying to keep this inning going here for the M's. You don't know how many more opportunities you're going to get like this. Whitey's pitching, and more to the point, Whitey's bullpen continuing to run pretty effectively, although they do snap the streak of 12 consecutive innings without giving up a run for the bullpen for this Whitey Red Sox team.
Yes, and with Kavanaugh having come across earlier this inning, that does break that streak. Ball fouled off again by Putts.
Yeah, that range of motion for Putts, maybe not quite what it was at the first half of the at-bat. Again, taking a little bit of a less exaggerated step with his left foot, but still able to fight the pitch off, and again, doing everything he can to try to keep this 7th going here for the M's. Also still trying to solve the new pitcher out there in Jacob Meter.
Wilkins stands on third. Putts in the batter's box. You have Winkle on deck awaiting. Should Putts be able to get on base? The 2-2 pitch. Contact made right at the second baseman, and Hoffman makes the throw over to first, and that is the inning. 1 run comes across for the Mariners. They can't get any more, though. It's now a 6-3 game. We move now to the home half of the 7th inning. We'll be back in just a minute. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Home half of the 7th inning up now. Wyatt Hoffman, the second baseman, who has been stellar today for the Red Sox, leading off. He swings at the first offering from Trey Dombrowski and misses. Dombrowski, he's been on the mound for 8 outs so far in this appearance, and all 8 of them have been strikeouts. The 0-1 pitch misses the zone 1-1.
Yeah, and as Wyatt Hoffman swung at that first pitch, you really do wonder whether the scouting report in the dugout was, guys, take a swing. A lot of looking strikes.
And there's a swing. Falling behind now, 1-2 is Hoffman. 5 of these strikeouts have been swinging, so they're trying. But Dombrowski has really just been, I mean, I wouldn't say unhittable. He has given up 4 hits, but his strikeout stuff has been there once he's ahead. The 1-2, that one missing high and inside. A bit of a shrug from Wyatt Hoffman there as he leans back from that one. 2-2.
Yeah, it seems like guys looking at pitches and fall behind.
2-2 pitches fouled off. Not caught by any child, but we do see a few scrambling over the fence to try and catch up to it. Count stays 2-2.
So getting ahead of guys who are being overly patient, and then as soon as he's got them where he wants them, then he's getting a lot of the swings and misses when guys don't have any other choice but to try to protect the plate.
The 2-2. Again fouled up. Over the backstop. Oh, catches a fan on the bounce up in the mug. They're all right. Somebody comes away with it. Count stays at 2-2.
Tim, I've been hit by 1 ball during a Cape League baseball game. It was here at Red Wilson Field.
No kidding.
I was just trying to go get a water. Just trying to hydrate on a hot, sunny day. Took one in the ankle off a hop.
2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Strikeout number 9 from Trey Dombrowski. 9 outs. He's been on the mound. 9 strikeouts he's followed through on. He's looked excellent here from Red Wilson Field.
I mean, this is absolutely unreal. And you got to think, this plays 2 factors here. Not only is Dombrowski feeling himself and really being confident in those pitches, but on the other side, if you're a batter going up to the plate, what are you thinking?
This ball chopped down the first baseline, foul over to the Mariners dugout, and again, Cade Beloso comes away with it.
I mean, you've seen 9 of your guys walk to the plate and then come back from the plate without even putting a ball in play. It's tough as a hitter to remain confident in your own abilities when a guy's pitching like this.
Absolutely. As the 0-1 pitch, in for a called strike 2, and once again, Dombrowski ahead in the count. He's got 9 already, trying to match his teammate Evan Shawver with a double-digit strikeout performance. Misses up high, 1-2.
Yep, an opportunity here for the 10th strikeout in as many outs. I mean, again, I think you and I have both been attending baseball games for a very long time. I've never seen anything like this.
Swing and a miss. He got him. Strikeout number 10 from Trey Dombrowski. The Monmouth product, he is slinging here in Yarmouth.
And you take a look at his numbers, at least the numbers for Trey Dombrowski at Monmouth. I mean, a good strikeout guy, but nothing that would lead you to believe he'd come here to the Cape where the hitting is even better and have an outing like this.
I mean, you have guys who sometimes the environment's just right as this one sent up the middle. That'll be a base hit for the leadoff man, Peyton Graham, who was the top of the order. He is now 4 for 5 on the day, Graham. An excellent day at the plate for him.
But again, no out recorded by the defense here. He's given up 4 singles. So far, nobody has advanced past third base. Tanner Smith, who we got swinging back in the 5th inning. The next man due up here.
Yep, so far it's been a good effort from Dombrowski. Another ball foul back, caught this time by a fan. 0-1. It's been 3 1/3 innings so far from Dombrowski, scoreless with 10 Ks. 0-1. Foul it off, and they have all been going to that spot. I think that finally did hit a car. Might have been a cone. Heard it go off of something. 0-2.
I believe it's a cone. I think if that thing would have hit a car, we would have heard a car alarm, which you also probably would have heard at home through our headsets.
Yep.
But again, an 0-2 count. Dombrowski on the doorstep, picking up 11 if he can get Tanner Smith.
The 0-2. This ball hits square out to right field. Foul, actually, as that one tailed towards foul territory. Looked good coming off the bat, but in that righty's batter's box, it's going to drift more away from the batter.
And a lot of cloud coverage here. No lights again at YD. Things are awfully dark here.
As this ball hit right back at Dombrowski. The one out recorded by the infield is just a liner right back to Dombrowski himself. He takes no prisoners, has a hand in each of the 11 outs he's been a part of. And we move now to the top half of the 8th inning, where the Mariners are down to their final 6 outs. It's 6-3 Red Sox. Here from Red Wilson Field. We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go too far. You are listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Pat Winkle will lead it off in the visitor half of the 8th inning. Catcher out of Yukon. Winkle so far this afternoon, he's gotten on base twice, if you could technically count that home run as having gotten on base when around the bases. They still have Jacob Meter on the mound for the Red Sox. Came in to finish off that 7th inning for YD. First pitch offered to Winkle is a strike, 0-1.
Yep, and again, time starting to be against the Mariners at this point of the game, still trailing it by 3. And a lot of opportunities squandered here for both sides, but I'd argue YD has almost been worse in that regard. 15 hits, only 6 runs.
As it is now a 2-2 count to Winkle very quickly, and YD, they've left a runner on the bases in each and every inning so far.
Yep, and they've stranded 2 in a number of those innings as well.
It's a 2-0 offer here as the scoreboard again. And Red Wilson a bit off. First strike to Winkle. He swings and misses. 2-1.
Yep, pretty quick moving game here, at least through the first 7 innings.
We will also see Zach Preisner and Corey Acton on the 2-2 now to Winkle as he swings and misses. Count goes to 2-2.
Yep, Winkle had a big hit earlier. Right now, just trying to get the M's started.
Meter stares in and delivers. Swing and a miss. Down goes Winkle. First strikeout delivered by Meter. And this will bring up the shortstop out of Notre Dame, Zach Preisner. Let's take a moment to update you on the out-of-town scoreboard in the bottom of the 5th inning over at McKeon Park in Hyannis. Katuitt over the Harbor Hawks, 6-0. And top of the 2nd right now at Eldridge Park, Wareham Gateman, Orleans Firebirds, a 0-0 tie at the moment. And in the bottom of the 1st, Chatham trails the Falmouth Commodores 1-0. First pitch delivered to Zach Preisner A ball, 1-0.
Yep, and of course, for the first time this season, we are the team out in front on time as opposed to the team bringing up the rear. I feel like almost every game we've played this season has been a nightcap.
As this ball hit, popped up underneath it, Wyatt Hoffman makes the catch. And there are 2 down now in the top of the 8th.
Yep, a couple of quick outs here recorded. And once again, I mean, that was a routine play, but it seems like Hoffman has just been all over the place in this game. No ball is safe from his mitt.
There's been a couple of tough defenders that the Mariners have run into this season. Those 2 up the middle, and Sprinkle and Young over in Orleans have been giving the Mariners trouble. And certainly today you could say the same for Wyatt Hoffman, having seen a lot of work over at second. The first pitch to the new batter, Acton, swung on and missed.
Of course, those things always seem to even themselves out by the end of the season. You'll have teams catch breaks defensively, and then the other team will catch a break defensively as the year goes on.
Second pitch in for a called strike, and so now down in the count, 0-2 is Corey Acton with 2 outs against the Mariners. And then, of course, 2 teams taking the day off. That is Brewster as well as, and the 0-2 misses outside. It's Brewster and
I believe Bourne.
Bourne, yes, undefeated Bourne. That's the only way you can stop them from winning a game is tell them to take the day off.
Well, of course, not quite a win yesterday, but a draw, still not a loss.
1-2 pitch from Acton, sent out to left field. Underneath it is Tanner Smith. He'll make the catch and end the inning. Mariners down to their last 3 outs. They'll have to play some defense before they get to them. For YD, it'll be Lee, Luttrell, and Baez due up. We'll be back in just a minute. It's 6-3 YD. Going to the bottom of the 8th, you're listening to the Harwich Mariners on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back with you now here at Red Wilson. Sun largely out of sight. Don't think we'll be seeing it again. Shade covering the entire field now, infield to out. And a new pitcher on the mound for the Mariners, Owen Cody, the lefty out of Penn. Mariners haven't gone with lefties all day long. They'll be facing off against Brooks Lee to open it up for the Red Sox. First pitch to Lee, swung on, popped up, and that's going to land down by the concession stand. Nearly catches a child. Somebody picks it up, 0-1.
Yeah, of course, a lot of baseball jerseys, a lot of Nike and Under Armour gear, and then of course one kid out there wearing a LeBron James Lakers jersey.
There's always going to be a LeBron fan. 0-1 pitch. Swung on, foul, over towards the YD dugout. 0-2.
I think one thing that is notable at this point in the season, Harwich, again, coming into this at 3-4, but they've struggled against these East teams. Just 1-3 against the East so far, and those are arguably the games that are more important, especially when you're talking about only 2 teams in the East making it to the playoffs this year.
0-2 pitch. Fouled straight back. Staying alive is Lee. Yeah, I mean, you're just going to see these teams more and more often, so you're going to have to find a way to solve these East teams.
Yep.
0-2 the count. That pitch floating, just missing the zone. Cody trying to sneak one in there, but a good hold from Lee makes the count 1-2.
You could say that every count with 2 strikes with Cody pitching is an 0 count.
As this ball hit onto third, but Wilkin has it bounce off the end of his glove. Lee's going to reach first safely on the misplay by the third baseman. E5, if you're going to rule that one at home.
Was also error number 5 for the Harwich Mariners today, which is, again, just an astounding number. 3 runs, 5 errors, 7 hits. Never a good sign when you've got more errors on the boards than runs.
Harwich, of course, were the benefactors of a couple of errors by Falmouth last Saturday, I believe it was. Pitch in from Cody. That finds the zone 0-1. This time on the other side of that, seeing what it's like.
Yep, and again, those are the things that throughout the course of a season do generally even themselves out.
Standing on first, Lee. Chase Luttrell at the plate. And takes a called strike 2. Nice pitch delivered off speed right over the plate.
Yep, Cody again just attacking that strike zone. And that's been the scouting report on him coming into the year. We know he likes to go right at these guys, trust his defense. See if it pays off for him, if he can pick up a strikeout here.
The 0-2. Can't find the zone with the off speed. No offer from Luttrell as well. It's a 1-2 count now.
Talking about a guy who is very good at control, but throughout his entire 2021 season, just 23 strikeouts, but only 9 walks.
1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Down goes Luttrell swinging. That's the second time today he's received a K.
Yep.
So Nate Baez now will come up to bat, and here's a guy who has not been slowed down one bit by this Mariners pitching staff. 4 for 4 is Baez.
Yep, 18 different guys have come to the plate today. Baez, the only one who has reached base in every at-bat.
First offering to Baez misses up high, 1-0.
And all singles. Nothing crazy, nothing in the gap. Just every time a good, solid piece of hitting finds its way to first base.
I mean, you'll take consistency any day of the week. As in 1-0 count to him here. Foul tip held onto by Winkle back into the glove. 1-1.
Unfortunately for Baez, the 2 guys backing him up are 0 for 8 today.
It has not been driven all that far. Only got as far as second base back in the first inning. A 1-1 count now. Cody delivers. Called strike at the knees. Count now in favor of Cody, 1-2. Cody taking after Dombrowski, getting ahead in counts. Trying to find his second strikeout. And he does. Down swinging goes Baez. Strikeout number 2 in the inning for Cody in as many outs.
Yeah, and just something about this Harwich pitching staff today. Strikeout counts getting racked up in a hurry. And they could certainly be competing for the top spot in the league after a game like this. 10 strikeouts earlier from Dombrowski, 4 for Schlittler, and 2 already here at the beginning of the outing for the aforementioned Owen Cody.
And in case you aren't doing the math at home, that is 16 strikeouts by Mariners pitchers. And the first pitch into the new batter in Cade Hutter is a strike, 0-1.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I wasn't doing the math here.
Break out the toes, got to count it.
We're still within the 20 range. I could still get there with the proper amount of time.
0-1 pitch, a nice one by Cody over the plate, 0-2.
Yep, and again, an 0-2 count for the fourth consecutive batter. Out ahead of everybody, it seems, here at the beginning of these ABs.
The 0-2 pitch from Cody. That one misses high and away. Now 1-2.
Typically, though, when you have 16 strikeouts as a pitching staff, you don't also have 15 runs allowed on the day. It's weird. The pitching has been very good, but contact has been arguably even better for YD today.
It was just that those first 2 innings that really gave the Mariners a lot of difficulties. Of course, the 3-run blast from Brooks Lee. And the 1-2 pitch, he got him. Strikeout number 3 in the inning for Cody. And down goes YD. 1, 2, 3 on strikeouts. Of course, the first batter in Lee getting on. But Cody, a successful appearance so far. We'll see if he comes back up to the mound. It's going to take some offense from the Mariners. They're down 3, down to their final 3. We'll give you that when we return. Back to Red Wilson in a minute. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners on the Mariners YouTube network. Jacob Meter still on the mound for the Red Sox. He's looking for the close as it'll be Cade Beloso, Ben Malgeri, and Press Kavanaugh to bat for the Mariners. And just a note on that, Mariners defense for the past 5 innings, there's been 15 outs recorded, 12 of which have been strikeouts. As this ball, first pitch seen by Beloso, pulled into right field, a leadoff single on the first pitch from Beloso. Good start for the Mariners.
Yep, absolutely a good piece of hitting there. Beloso now 2 for 4 on the day. Again, he needed a day like this, and he's got the Mariners with a runner aboard here, nobody out. Still a manageable 3-run deficit here, Tim.
Certainly, as you have Ben Malgeri now coming up to bat, and a quick correction on that stat, 13 of the past 15 outs for the Mariners recorded by strikeout.
Still impressive any way you want to look at it.
Malgeri unsuccessful in trying to get on base today. He's grounded out to second twice. He lets the first pitch fly in. No signal from the umpire. Scoreboard jumps out to an 0-1 count, however. Pitch skips in the dirt, gets away from the catcher, and over to second is going to be the pinch runner in Jake Lazaro on the base paths now for Harwich.
Yep.
1-1 count now here to Ben Malgeri. Meter trying to record an out. The double play threat now removed for Harwich. Ball skips in the dirt, and it's going to be another free base for Harwich. Lazaro advances over to third as this one skipped off the chest protector of Hunter behind the plate and ran over towards Kavanaugh standing in the on-deck circle.
Yeah, ultimately nothing too concerning. Of course, that run of little consequence is coming out to have a word with this pitcher is Hunter. But another run just 90 feet away. Important to note that, again, the tying run is represented right now by Press Kavanaugh in the on-deck circle. So Harwich still has some work to do to threaten the 3-run lead, but no chance for the double play. And that first run, again, just 90 feet away.
And in case you're listening in the ballpark here at Red Wilson Field, the scoreboard says 2-1. That first pitch was a ball, despite it having been marked as a strike. And after a conversation between Hunter and Meter on the mound, Hunter went back to the plate, but then a moment later, the entire infield, Meter, as well as the skipper for YD, all come in to have a talk. They're going to go to the bullpen. That will be the day for Jacob Meter, as a couple of balls getting away from the catcher, Hunter, puts the Mariners in a good spot to try and drive some offense around the bases. We'll take a break here. We'll get you the stats on the new guy on the mound, and we will also recap the day for Meter. Of course, he is responsible for the guy on third. We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. New pitcher on the mound for YD. It's Christian Culpepper. He's pitched an inning in 2/3 so far for the Red Sox. He's struck out 2, and he's tasked with getting 3 outs here, as Malgiri, already ahead in the count 3-0, is now ahead 3-1. Takes the first strike from Culpepper. I feel like it's not too often you see a pitching change in the middle of an at-bat, as now Culpepper giving Malgiri a completely different look here in the box once he was already ahead 3-0.
And right now, home plate umpire Frank Auditore having a word with somebody in the dugout. He looks confused. The dugout looks confused. I don't know what that was about, but either way, it's 3-1 here.
A lot of people not too familiar with what's going on right now. 3-1 count. Culpepper stares. The righty delivers. Ball cracked on the ground over to second. Picked up by Hoffman. Thrown to first for the out. That's the first one of the inning, but a run does score in Cade Beloso. So now a 2-run game with 1 out. And up comes Press Kavanaugh, who coming into today had not had his first Cape League hit, but he's found some success here in YD. 2 for 3.
Yep. Good day so far for Kavanaugh, looking to extend that here and extend the inning for the M's down to their final 2 outs.
Takes the first pitch in for a strike, 0-1.
Of course, the top of the order looming after that, Nick Lucky standing on deck, followed by Brock Wilkin. But they got to get to those guys first.
Yeah, it would certainly behoove them to do so and to get a guy like Kavanaugh on. The 0-1 pitch. And that one misses outside, 1-1.
Yeah, and you just get the feeling, too, if the M's could come back, at the very least get a tie in this game, it could go really far for some positive momentum into what is a big week coming up.
The 1-1 pitch swung on and missed by Kavanaugh. He's behind in the count 1-2. And a tie, you say that word around here, around these YD fans, I'm sure they get a jump out of it. You know, they've seen a couple ties this season, YD, as we've mentioned, 3, most in the league. 1-2 pitch down swinging goes Kavanaugh. Cannot catch it down low. And now 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning. go time here for the Mariners with the top of the lineup coming up, Nick Lucky. He's struck out 3 times already, grounded out to second in his only other at-bat. That was not a strikeout. Looking for his first piece of hitting so far this afternoon. First pitch into Lucky, misses, ball 1.
Yep, and obviously it's all down to Nick Lucky, as you mentioned, 3 strikeouts today, trying to turn his fortunes around.
The 1-0 pitch misses outside again. Now 2-1, 2-0. Sorry, excuse me. Culpepper delivers. Ball cracked on the ground. That stays fair for a moment. Spin on it helped to take it foul. Count now 2-1. Culpepper likes to pitch around these guys a little bit more. You know, we've seen it from some pitching today where, at least on the Harwich side, going after a lot of guys. But Culpepper count building up as it's currently 2-1. The 2-1 pitch. Cracked on the ground again down that first base line. This one much more foul, however. Count now even at 2. Mariners down to their last strike, the pitch. Ball hit on the ground right at the second baseman, Hoffman. Throw on to first, and that's the ball game. Ground out to Hoffman ends it, and the YD Red Sox pick up the win over the Harwich Mariners here at Red Wilson Field, 6-4 the final score. We'll take a quick break. We will come back and break it down for you in just a minute. Don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back here in Yarmouth, again, the final score from Red Wilson Field, 6-4 in favor of the Red Sox. Mariners drop their second straight, a repeat of last week's season opener, in that they lost to Orleans and then the day after went on to lose to YD. So Tyler, as Harwich had some stellar pitching down the stretch, it was really the offense that just could not pick it up in key moments during this game to help propel them out in front to try and get the win.
Yeah, it seemed like there was a lot of timely pitching today. You're talking about a YD team that stranded 12 runners, I believe close to 7 of those in scoring position, but timely hitting did not follow for the M's. They stranded 6 of their own, and again, kind of just a rough day with the bats for the M's, but this lineup has seen an injection of offense, and they'll have another game coming up with Bourne tomorrow and then an opportunity to take a day off, collect themselves, and work on trying to go at the East again as they fall to 1-4 against the Eastern Division this summer.
Yeah, you talk about having to face off against a team like Bourne, and I think you mentioned it a bit earlier in the season. This team still looking for its first real complete performance where both the pitching and the hitting put it together for one whole entire game, and of course, you get the win, and it's going to be a tall task to do that tomorrow against Bourne. What are you hoping to see against those Braves?
Yeah, I mean, the hope, obviously, partially, is that the day off has calmed down the Bravos' bats a bit, a team that's been hitting the cover off the ball. Pitching has looked very good as well. I mean, it's going to be tough, but it wasn't like Bourne got a convincing win over Harwich a couple of days ago. You're talking about a 4-1 victory for the Braves. So, again, Harwich has the pitching. They've got a really good offense, and if they can put it all together, as you mentioned, a good chance to steal a win in Bourne tomorrow before the day off.
So as we look ahead to what we may be able to see tomorrow for the Mariners, a couple guys who could be on the mound, we're not too sure. Billy Seidel last time pitched in the third day. Of course, he pitched after Shawver last week, did not happen, and we'll have to just wait and see. Actually, yeah, so it should be Seidel, because in my scorebook I'm missing Schlittler's non-outing. So Schlittler went today, and it should be Billy Seidel tomorrow on the mound for the Mariners. Of course, the Blue Devil will get the start. So that'll do it for us here at Red Wilson Field. Final line, 6 runs for the Red Sox, 4 for the Mariners, 15 hits for YD, 8 for the Mariners, and big number on the board for Harwich, 5 errors that helped to scratch a few across for YD. Red Sox only giving up 1 error, and that is going to do it. So, for our entire media crew here today at Red Wilson, Chris Cassidy calling Casey, helping to run social media. My broadcast partner, Tyler Henry, on the call all evening with me here from Yarmouth. This is Tim Foley, thanking you so much for tuning in for today's game against the YD Red Sox. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. Again, a 6 o'clock start time against the Braves of Bourne. Don't want to miss it. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.